Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Make sure you hit that like button as y'all come in. We're going to have a good build. I want you guys to be interactive. I want you guys to share this content. I want to hear your thoughts. At the end of this, we will allow an open panel. If you guys want to come up and say what your thoughts would be if this was concerning you, we're going to have a good build, man. This man fired his own brother. I want you guys to watch this video and tell me by the end of it what you guys think, okay? So as you guys come in, if you could see yourself firing your brother from your company, if you had to, would you? Could you fire your brother? Especially if you knew he had no other options, would you fire your brother? Peace, peace, peace. Welcome in, guys. Simone, clocking your T. Eric Watson, you was close, bro. Y'all must have all hit it at the same time. Letitia Kawan, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Listen, y'all we're gonna have a good build, man. Don't go anywhere. We're about to see a heated argument between two brothers over a certain situation. We got to find out what's going on with it, how to fix the situation. Peace to you, sis. Welcome in, my beautiful sister, Real Spill with Dawn. Go ahead and highlight that comment here. Dawn, I want your opinion on this too. Could you ever see yourself firing your very own brother? Okay, Joy is real. Welcome in. Josephine Edmonds, welcome in. If I said Nita and Letitia, I think I did say Letitia. Dee, welcome in. I'm going to allow a special person to come up. I want to see if she's going to be showing up here soon. I shot her a message, just tell her she's available. Pop in, you know what I mean? Because I'd like to get her thoughts on this right here too. And I like to, like I said, I like to get any of y'all thoughts too. So you definitely more than welcome to come up, especially if you are a content creator. We'll give you a shout out. How people come and check out your content based on your opinions that you give here today. It's gonna be real good. We're gonna be dealing with really the main purpose of this. The main, I think, message here will be accountability. Okay. Welcome in. Speaking of welcome in, Chatty Kathy. Peace to you. Peace to you. I'm gonna drop this link. And we're going to have a really good build, man. This will be the first time this video is witnessed by Chatty. As I just sent her a message and said, hey, I'd like to do this build if you're available. Let's do this real quick. Hang on. This is the first of many. I want you other guys too to be willing to do these types of builds with me, especially those who are coming from the True Saga. A lot of you guys are looking for a different way to take your channels, and I'd like to help with that by just starting here, building here. We'll review some videos, have some dope builds, and start from there, family. Sometimes you just gotta spin your wheels. I already know what I want to do, but I figure why not give you guys an opportunity to join in with me while I do this, okay? About to be a good build, family. Dealing with accountability. I feel like accountability is the glue that holds us all. Welcome in, Chatty. How you doing?
Peace, brother. Peace. How's it going?
I'm amazing, and peace to you.
Good. Peace, everybody in the chat.
First, I want to welcome you to the platform. Anybody who is unfamiliar with Chatty, she is amazing. Her dialogue is out of this world. She sounds like she's a news reporter, similar to Pink Book Lessons when I first heard her. So I wanted her to be able to dialogue with me. We're going to look at this video. We're going to give you guys our thoughts on it. And please go follow her, as she does content all the time and gives her thoughts all the time. And it's always something to learn from it. Okay, guys? So Chatty, I wanted you to look at this video because it shows how people have trouble with accountability. Often, more times than not, they focusing on kind of what benefits them and not the losses another person may take. And this breakdown is just great. Have you ever seen a moment where you're talking to somebody and clearly you can see the flaw, but they cannot? And even if you tell them, they still struggle with taking accountability on their part.
More times than I can count, and several this week.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just a difficult position to be in when you see somebody fail to grasp their own contribution, right?
Yeah.
I often wonder what sits behind that. Is the denial because they are defensive, as they'll feel like a bad person if they have to admit they were wrong? Is it because they struggle with repairing the problem once they admit they were wrong? Because some people, it's hard for them to say sorry and make up for that problem. Some people don't want to be convicted of the problem, so to speak. I often wonder why is the person denying their accountability? What's the motive behind it? You see what I'm saying?
I do. I do. It's a lot of underlying issues, most that they're aware of, but they approach it with defensiveness. How dare
Mm-hmm.
you call me out of something that I'm aware of that I'm trying to suppress and camouflage, and how dare you recognize it?
Absolutely. And they'll often get angry at you for calling out this flaw or their behavior, right?
Yeah, they're aware.
Absolutely. Again, Real Spill with Don, welcome in. Thank you for staying so active. Lasanda Wheeler, peace, peace, peace. And I apologize to you. I didn't see your comments the other day. I was focused on an individual with commenting there, so it'll never happen again. And thank you for still supporting me too. We're going to get to it, guys. I want to say this. I feel like accountability is the glue that ties commitments to results. Today, we're going to break down a real life story that is as much about business as it is professional growth. I would say family and responsibility, though. This is a powerful lesson in how decisions, both big and small, can affect not just us, but everyone around us. Okay. So a man's going to step to his brother. His brother's freshly out of prison. He has a second chance at life. He hires him to work for his company. He trusts him to abide by the rules and responsibilities of professionalism. I think it's a beautiful act of grace and family support to give your brother another opportunity. But what happens next, okay, could unravel the whole thing. So your brother gets out of prison. He's been in there for 6 or 7 years, I believe. Give him an opportunity and you expect things to go right? But you still have to be accountable for the other person. It takes two. Yeah, you're doing a good gesture, but are they going to be respectful of it? Let's watch this video. Let me get some sound here. Hang on. Where's the sound button?
Facebook. Check this out, man. My brother just got out of jail. And I love my brother to death. I love my brother to death. So I let him work for my company. I bought him a truck. I put some money in his pocket. Gave him a little money to get him a crib. 10 kids. So I'm trying to put him in a better position to win. And my company, we deliver to professional people. Everything we take to these people, we do it in a professional manner. We have no problems. But he hired his son. His son went and got a tattoo on his face. Now, people these companies calling me saying that we unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? My brother, say man, look, I'm really trying to help you, bro. I'm trying to help you, bro. You've been in jail 7 years away from your kids, man. And you let this live.
All right. Do we need to run it back one more time? Because I want you guys to gather your thoughts, okay? You're the older sibling here, okay? Or you're the sibling with the company. I don't know which one of these guys are older. You're the sibling with the older company, and you hire your brother. Obviously, you've lost a contract now. There's a huge problem because your brother has allowed his son to get a tattoo on his face. Now, your brother hired his son, hired your nephew. Great. That's awesome. But he's just done something. Chatty, what's your thoughts? He's about to confront his brother. If this were you, what are you saying? Or would you like to watch the video back? While you're talking, I want you guys put in one in the chat, guys, if you want to watch this back, and put a 2 if you like to move on to the next video. Chatty, go ahead if you don't mind.
I need to watch that back again.
Okay, let's run it back.
Yeah.
What's up, Facebook? Check this out, man. My brother just got out of jail. And And I love my brother to death. I love my brother to death. So I let him work for my company. I bought him a truck. I put some money in his pocket. Gave him a little money to get him a crib. 10 kids.
He has 10 children, guys.
So I'm trying to put him in a better position to win.
Mm-hmm.
To win.
Right.
And my company, we deliver to professional people.
Okay.
Everything we take to these people, we do it in a professional manner. We have no problems. But he hired his son. His son went and got a tattoo on his face. Now, people call it, these companies calling me, saying that we unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? My brother, say man.
All right, so he sees his brother, okay? He loves his brother. Let's set the stage. He loves him. This is a passionate act hiring his brother, a heart act. Likely wasn't a mind act. His brother's doing 10 years or whatever it was, 7 years in prison. It's for something likely linked to criminal activity, is an accountability, horrible behavior patterns, lack of critical thinking, moving too fast, not thinking before you move, right? But he hires him out of love. Chatty, you hired your brother out of love. He's been in jail 7 years. You want to help him out. He's got 10 children. Of course you want to help him out. But man, he let his son get a face tattoo. Now, the good side of it, he hired his son. He didn't just, take the job. He put his son to work. So there's some good sides to it. But in light of knowing you've lost the company's business, I think it's just one company so far. He said he's getting calls from several companies. But Chatty, what are you doing? What's your thoughts so far?
So far in this instance, I'm saying that the brother's wrong that's recording. So far. I'm saying that he's wrong with his approach. I'm saying that he's wrong with the judging of the face tattoo. And I'm saying that he's wrong without providing some additional context so far. It could change, but right now in this instance, from the way that he approached the situation and the way that he presented it, I'm going to say that he's wrong.
Okay, I would agree. Why is this online? This is a personal issue, though, between you and your brother. He's already gotten out of prison. Why would you put this out there? It's embarrassing. Who knows how he's going to respond once he sees his face online? You're probably ruining opportunities for him to find work. People are not going to really trust him. Your whole family's going to be in this business now talking about it. You've also said you've given him money. I think you gave him a place to stay. A few things. Let's hear this back. Now, just think about this. You're the little brother, or you're the brother who got out of prison. Your brother's upset with you for righteous reasons now. You didn't follow the rules. You've been unprofessional. But he's online telling the world about it before he even confronts you. This is your business he's telling, even though you're wrong. Let's listen back. So this is just Chatty saying the way he approached it was wrong. So obviously this brother moves by his heart. He's a heart person. He loves his brother, loves him, guys. So that's why he gives him this money and gives him this opportunity. Now he's angry at his brother. This is also emotion. So now he's going to embarrass his brother. Obviously, there's an issue here, but we always say, guys, it's the way you go about it. Now, the brother doesn't know he's online. So we'll deal with the brother and how his brother approaches him, because all he's going to know is how he approaches him. But right now, the brother doesn't know he's being put online, but we're just looking at it from, we know this. All right, so let's look at what could happen in the aftermath once his brother sees, man, I'm online. First, after the encounter, everything that's going to go on that you guys not aware of yet. Later, he's going to see he's online, and you got to imagine what can come from that. And so here's what this is.
Say, man, look, I'm really trying to help you, bro. I'm trying to help you, bro. You've been in jail 7 years away from your kids, man. Away from your kids, man. And you let this live. What's up, Facebook? Check this out, man. My brother just got out of jail. And I love my brother to death. I love my brother to death. So I let him work for my company. I bought him a truck. I put some money in his pocket. Gave him a little money to get him a crib.
Now, guys,
10 kids.
Why is this happening? You're obviously upset. You're in social media. You're on social media. You see his truck in front of him. You're about to confront him. Likely you haven't talked to anybody else about this, right? Um, so you're going to social media for what? For their opinion? What are we doing here? And okay, that's why you're live. But now you're laying out that he got out of jail. We get that. But why are you telling us that you gave him money, and all those things? That's not really relevant to the subject. So even if you're online doing this, being relevant to the subject is, listen, y'all, I hired my brother. You understand? I can even understand that he just got out of jail thing. But saying you gave him money and all this stuff is like, what's the reason you're doing this? What's the reason you're saying this? And I think it's like he feels slighted. He feels like he's done so much for his brother, and his brother let him personally down. You understand? So I think he feels also slighted. And this is why a lot of people say don't hire your siblings. If this was just an employee, he's not going online with this. He's not taking it personal. He's probably not investing so much money into the guy going in. But aside from his passion, he's giving this guy money. So he feels like he's taking a loss, and he feels like his brother has disrespected what he gave to him. Chatty, what would you say about that?
And that's my thing, and that's why I say that the approach is wrong, because I don't think there's a person walking this earth who has not been hurt by someone that they love. And in this instance, the brother is clearly upset by his brother who he loves. But in doing so, you are now, it seems as if whatever they had going on past, he's tying that all into this particular situation. So now I'm going to bring up the fact that I helped you do this, I helped you do that, which has nothing to do with the particular topic. We're talking about a job, but you're tying in other things simply because of your emotion. But at the same time, you're also hurting him, and how people are now going to perceive him and your nephew, who you love. So, for one, just in this instance, not being able to control your emotion, you're creating a bigger problem that potentially didn't have to be, because this brother is now going to struggle to find work. Men are extremely prideful, so now the world knows that you needed help. The woman in his life is probably going to look at him now like, you bum. You have now placed all of this trauma on him by simply approaching it in the wrong manner.
Absolutely. But now you're his brother. You have now went about this the wrong way. Obviously, you're passionate about it. He's got 10 children, though. If you fire this guy, he's already been to prison for 7 years. He's already showing you he hasn't necessarily built the character that it takes to maintain a commitment. Okay. He was told to stay within uniform. He's already out of uniform. You see him get out of the company truck, and they're just in regular clothes. So he's not in uniform at all. Why is he not putting on just the outfit, man? Put the damn clothes on. And some people do this. They're not bad people, but they'll come to work out of uniform all the time. Why? Oh, it's wrinkled, or how you present yourself is everything. These companies, man, they take this seriously. You may disagree with the company and say, hey, why do you have a policy on how I wear my hair or my tattoo? They own the company. And once you sign that contract, you have to abide by it. And that company has a right to terminate that contract if you break the contract. But 10 children, though, do I just say, okay, I lost some contracts here, put some makeup on it, go get it removed, put a Band-Aid, some kind of way, try to cover it up, or terminate your son? Maybe we've probably lost that contract, but are you terminating your brother? You're giving him another chance? What are you guys doing? Put in the comments. Chatty, what's your ideas? What's your thoughts? Is your mind already made up, or is it based on this conversation with your brother? I'll say that. Is your mind, I'm letting him go. I'm sick of this shit. He done cost me a contract that's probably a couple $100,000 a year based on what he's delivering. Who knows how much that affected already? Are you like, let me see what he says. Let me see if he's going to correct this issue, or he's out of there. I'd rather just throw him something on the side than lose contracts. I'd rather take care of him than to hire him, because obviously he's proven himself to be a burden.
Yeah, I can't, just based on this, I can't say that I'm going to terminate him. I'm definitely going to have a conversation with my brother. And depending on what type of business I have, I might look into, maybe he can do something, load the vehicles, depending on where they're at. Maybe having him interact with customers and clients is not something for him. Because guess what? When you're just getting out of jail, that's a whole nother conversation within itself. A lot of these people need to be rehabilitated again and even learn human interaction. You got to keep in mind they've been in an institution and where it's fight or flight. Mentally, I feel like there needs to be some sort of assistance to help them navigate into the real world again, because just like with the war, I think a lot of these men return home with some form of trauma, PTSD, etc., etc., depending on what they saw. If you watch the videos on jail and the treatment and the sodomy and what takes place mentally, we don't know where that brother's at. So I would have to have a conversation with him. And I will say, possibly in my mind, based on what I'm seeing, it might be that he's not well with people. And I might look to present him with something to where he will work alone, or maybe packing up the boxes or loading the trucks to where he doesn't interact with my contracts.
That's beautiful. You see, and even though you're angry, even though you've already taken a loss, and even I'm talking about based on what you've given him, but you've also lost a contract or potentially more. Take him out of the truck, put him in shipping, put him in a different department. Perfect. And see, this is when we move brash, he's already put it online now. So what if we didn't put it online and we just went to him and said, listen, I got to get you out of the truck. You see what I'm saying? If we move in haste, we're gonna cause way more problem than good. And because your anger is justified or righteous doesn't mean act on that anger in haste. So what Chatty said is brilliant. Offer him a different position potentially and see what he needs to build his character and development. Who knows what he learned in this prison? Who knows what he didn't, what he wasn't able to confront in this prison? You know what I mean? So you can get in there and read a lot of books, but hey, obviously some issues have been pointed out here. But again, 10 children, who knows how old they are? This child that was with him looks pretty young. We'll hit play from there. Hang on.
So I'm trying to put him in a better position to win.
Now I'm gonna stop it right there. 1 second. Good motive. He wants to put his brother in a better position. We've all wanted to do this for people that we cared about. We've all wanted to give people something and they do something positive with it. But you giving them something doesn't mean that they're going to do what you would expect them to do with it. You understand? And often you'll get upset. I ain't giving nobody else nothing. And you'll have a lot of resentment tied to that. So this is what's happened. He wants to put his brother in a position, a better position. But his brother doesn't seem to have acquired the skill to put himself in a better position. So you can't just put someone in a position and they maintain that position. It's unreal. It's almost like if I've been working out, right, and I can lift a lot of weight, and I just put someone in position. If they haven't worked to build the muscle, to build the discipline to hold that weight, they're not going to be able to. The same as with mental. This man doesn't have the character and all this, the know-how, all this type of stuff. You can't put somebody in position. So they'll probably let you down because they're not going to have the character to maintain that position, or even probably the know-how. Let's continue.
In my company, we deliver to professional people. Everything we take to these people, we do it in a professional manner. We have no problems. But he hired his son. His son went and got a tattoo on his face. Now, people these companies calling me saying that we unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? My brother. Say, man.
All right, so we're going to go to the next video. But while we're doing that, consider this. What has he done wrong? Okay? He didn't steal any money from the company. So it's no reason to go up on him, screaming on him like it seems he's about to do. Okay, his son got a face tattoo. So obviously he's not seeing this as a huge issue. The brother isn't. I get it. You lost the company, so you're already upset at that. And you're honestly upset with yourself for all that you've given him, the expectation you had on it, and him letting you down. When we get mad at people for not doing what we expect them to do with the money or advice that we lend them, we're actually angry at ourselves, y'all. We can't make someone take our advice or the help that we offer them. All right, we have to be on the other side of that and be like, hey, it's up to you to take the advice. It's up to you to take this and do what you're supposed to do with it. You just can't keep coming back and getting it. You understand? So he hasn't done anything necessarily wrong except for break company policy. So he didn't do anything that you would say I can't trust this guy with the truck. He's not driving reckless. He's not showing up. These are not issues like that. So I can understand why Chatty's saying this is a conversation. I'm not just going to jump to firing the guy. Now, if he stole money, he's wrecking the truck, he's making other people wreck, damaging equipment, things of that nature, you actually have to do this because you got to protect your company, not based on anger. But this is an entirely different issue. But let's see how the conversation goes, because I could approach it with the same thought as Chatty. I'm not going to fire him. I'm going to give him an opportunity to work somewhere else first and go from there. But based on that conversation and how he responds, and if he's accountable to the things he's done, that could change a lot. And so this is going to tell you a lot about him too. So let's get into it. Let me find that video real quick. 1 second. I should have been looking for it while I was saying that, but y'all talking to me. All right, I got it. 1 second.
This ain't a representation of my mother company, bro. This ain't a to do with the company. This unprofessional. Bro, we got one job, bro. That job is to pull up, get them people listen. Drop they load. That ain't the bro. This is the real world, man. This the real world. You let them get a tattoo on his goddamn face, man. I told you we gotta be professional, or these people ain't with us no more, man. It's a family company. We already got the contract. Yeah, they canceling the contract because he got a tattoo on his face. Come on, bro. They got a tattoo. Ain't no sue him. Ain't no getting sued, man. That's a contract. That's a break. See, man, that's that bullshit you talking about, man. That's that bull. That's you not trying to hold yourself accountable, man. That's why you went to prison the first mother, bro. How about you? How about you? Truck. They complaining about. Cause look, man. Hey, man. I don't make rules, man. I don't make this the real world. And you don't like it, man. Give me my shit back. You don't have to work for me. You spent invested $100. I'll pay you $7,500 for that truck. Man,
I absolutely do not like how the brother responded. We're gonna run it back, guys. Take your time as we go through this. Make sure you're truly listening. Okay. I don't like how he approached this brother, but the excuses this brother was making is saying a lot. Chatty, do you agree?
I don't.
Okay, what you thinking?
I'm still on the brother side. I really am, and I know it's wrong, but I can't even say that. If you go into business for yourself, my appearance, similar to how they judge us at work with our locks, is not an issue. And that's not a business that I would want to do. That's not a business that I wouldn't want their business if you're going to judge my employees based on their appearances. Now, face tattoos, is that, depending on what it says, does his face say I'm a unalive you? Who knows? But if you're going to judge my business based on who I employ and what they look like, then I don't know if I want your business. Similar to the guys that do the septic ear things, and their earlobes are all big, and you see them online and they look scary. They're Caucasian and their face is all tatted blue and pink, but then they're really teddy bears. How are we going to, and how do we get past the point to where people that are can do the job, but you're not going to give them an opportunity based on what you feel they look like? So now when they're breaking into your establishment, you're going to think otherwise, because it's the thought process like that can potentially send people back into a life of crime. I think that the brother's overreacting in this particular instance. I think that he should have had a conversation with that company and asked certain questions, pertinent questions. Was your delivery on time? Were they hostile towards you? Did they utilize profanity? Did you smell marijuana? All of these questions, and get to the root of why they're already trying to cancel the contract, because it seems to me they didn't want your business anyway and was probably just looking for an excuse to cancel you. I'm still somewhat on the brother side. I do.
Okay, so Chad is on the position of the brother. I'm going to take the position of the brother that's confronting the brother. obviously Chatty's looking at it from the standpoint of the employee, their rights to be themselves, and that doesn't point to any character. Why would we prohibit that based on a look when that doesn't indicate any character flaw? So I'm gonna come from the position. Am I wrong, Chatty?
No,
Am I correct?
you're correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna come from the position of a business owner. Okay, let's say I own my business. I don't want the guy with the long earlobes working there, as he may intimidate some of my customers, maybe based on my style of business. So I put it within my policy: no zero gauge ear piercings. Right now, yes, good people have zero gauge ear piercings, but this is my policy. It's my company. If this person signs the contract and said, I will stay within company policy, or they sign the contract to work there knowing company policy, I do have a right to terminate them if they were to break that policy. If they were to say, well, I should have a right to wear my earlet like this, I'm not a bad person, I'm all these, which is very true in what Chatty said. I would say, while that may be true, it's my policy. I don't want the look. And as a business owner, I have that right. Okay. I think that's where the older brothers coming from. It's just the rules, bro. And the younger brothers coming from, but why? Why is it an issue? We do everything right. We do the job correct. And I think that's perfect because Chatty sees exactly where he's coming from. I can see both sides. I see where the older brothers coming from. And I do this just to have a fun debate. I'm choosing this side just to have debates, just to bring out extra thoughts. I don't think it would be fun if we agreed on everything. Okay. This is why I really wanted to do this. I think it's very interesting. So I'll say this. A man steps up to give his brother, freshly out of prison, a second chance at life. He hires him to work for his company, trusting him to abide by the rules and responsibilities of professionalism. It's a beautiful act and grace of family support, but what happens when it unravels? This is not just a job, okay? It's a professional commitment. This is how the brother put it, okay? Before the brother even started, he was told, it's not just a job, it's a professional commitment. The companies are contracted with strict professionalism at every level. You have to stay in uniform, literally and figuratively. So the brother understands this. He feels like the brother violated the contract, of course, when he got the call. So this is what the disagreement is about. Let's listen to this encounter one more time, because I don't think the brother approached it right. But I'm gonna listen to it one more time, and I think we'll play it back again and we'll pause it. So let's do that. We'll go through the interaction the next time around.
Get a tattoo on his goddamn face, man. This ain't a representation of my mother company, bro. This ain't a rep to do with the company. This unprofessional. Bro, we got one job, bro. That job is to pull up, get them people listen. Drop their load. That ain't the bro. We in the this is the real world, man. This the real world. You let him get a tattoo on his goddamn face, man. I told you we gotta be professional, or these people ain't with us no more, man. It's a family company. We already got the contract. Yeah, they canceling the contract because he got a tattoo on his face. Come on, bro. They got a tattoo. Ain't no sue them. Ain't no getting sued, man. That's a breach of contract. That's a break. See, man, that's that bullshit you talking about, man. That's that bull. That's you not trying to hold yourself accountable, man. That's why you went to prison the first mother, bro. Man, bro, I bought you this truck. I bought you this truck. They complaining about this look, man. What do you mean? Hey, man, I don't make rules, man. I don't make this the real world. And you don't like it, man, give me my shit back. You don't have to work for me. Like you spent invested $100. I'll pay you $7,500 for that truck. Man, it don't matter.
Wow. Guys. Very heated exchange, man. He is obviously heated. Walks up to his brother and just yelling on the son. Now, you're the brother now. You don't know anything about anything. And all of a sudden, you see your brother coming at you like this, yelling on your son. Yeah, I'm going to be upset. Yo, you need to calm down, bro. You know what I mean? But obviously, we get to that part. But I want to go through this slow and work through it. What could have been said, and then you guys can see what I see is wrong with this conversation. Okay? Chad, is there anything you want to say before I go?
Right now, it's seeing that the brother has some issues and was looking for any excuse, because at no point is he identifying that it was in the contract that any employee couldn't have face tattoo. And the brother does have a point. He's saying it's breach of contract. This is an instance into where if there was nothing in the contract regarding face tattoos, brother, let's work together because your business has just been discriminated against. But whatever personal feelings you have towards me is clouding your judgment. Because if that's not the case, they were very much discriminated against. But the brother has some underlying issues and needs to point out to everyone what he did. I feel like the brother was on eggshells prior to, and anything he does, the brother was going to have this instance. And it's giving right now. You didn't do anything with the intent to truly help him. It seems, and what you're giving is that you did it for this moment right here to say, I knew I shouldn't have done this. I told you so. I hope it changes, but right now, I'm not liking the brother's approach and what it could seem that he has going on underneath. I don't know. That's just me, Kev. I'm sorry.
Okay, beautifully put. Beautifully put. So let's work through it, and by the time we get to the end of it, let's see where we are. Okay, let's go.
Get a tattoo on his goddamn face, man. This ain't a representation of my mother company, bro.
Now, this is not a representation of my company. So now we hear now a little bit. He don't want him having a face tattoo in his company. Now we know the company has a policy, but for some reason he don't want it. You heard that. It's not a representation of my company, bro. And I'm not gonna say that's just a fact that that's his thing, but I just think that's underlying that he must find something wrong with this. Maybe he's walked the straight and narrow. His brother been in prison. That is kind of embarrassing already. Again, maybe he has a personal issue against it as well as the company. But let's continue.
This ain't a to do with the company. This unprofessional. Bro, we got one job, bro. That job is to pull up, get them people listen. Drop they loans. That ain't the bro. We in the, this is the real world, man. This the real world. You let him get a tattoo on his goddamn face, man. I told you we gotta be professional, or these people ain't with us no more, man. This a family company. We already got the contract.
Now, right there, okay. So the brother didn't say, I didn't know we couldn't get face tattoos. It seems like he's saying we already got the contract. They can't fire us now. That's the problem I have with what he's saying. You can't move like that through life. Well, I already got the job, so it's okay to smoke again. I already got the job, so it's okay to do this again. No, you have to follow their company policies. You have to do what they're asking of you. You understand? So a person don't necessarily end up in jail or prison because he's a bad person. They end up there by not thinking carefully, by not following the rules or taking the time to understand them. You know what I mean? So some people end up there just because they're honestly just unaware of themselves. You know what I mean? So it can be linked to just being careless, not necessarily criminal activity, plotting to do something violent to you, steal from you, or something like that. And so I think that could probably be why he could have ended up in jail, is the way he thinks, so to speak. There are rules that you have to abide by. And his brother saying, listen, this is the real world where regardless of your thoughts about the thing, the company has given us a contract and we signed it. So regardless of your thoughts about the thing, their rules remain their rules. So we breached the contract first because they said remain professional. They didn't breach the contract. Once we breach the contract, they have a right to terminate the contract. And that appears to be what's happened. However, the brother's saying, well, I don't think that's right, because I think, well, more so in Chatty's words, the brother's not really expressing himself that well, but it's freedom of expression, right? Like, it doesn't mean that he's going to be harmful to anybody. Why is that considered professionalism? The uniform alone should be considered professionalism, but he doesn't have a uniform on. So he's not in uniform. That is a problem. So the face tattoo is a problem, but why are you not even in uniform? You know, now y'all in the truck now. If you're gonna even drive the company truck, leave it alone if you're not in uniform. If you have an extra car, so to speak. You know what I mean? But I look at it from just the policy standpoint to having to abide by that policy. Now the brother's saying, I said that Chatty said, of course, freedom of expression. I think the brother's saying, all we do is drop loads, man. We pull up, drop a load. what the heck does a face tattoo have to do with that? It's not like we're taking the product to the customer. We drop a load. So we go from company to company. What's the problem? Maybe the company's like, I used to work for a mulch company, okay? Drive a mulch truck, back up to the truck, dump mulch off, and I would be at a mulch like terminal where they just grind mulch all day. I take it to the lot where you guys would go buy mulch and put it on your trucks or take it to your home. I would take it to those individual like stores and dump it. I would have to get out of the truck to push the mulch off the truck. After it came off like a conveyor to sweep the rest off, and I would see customers all the time. So maybe it's a job like that in which where their customer would somehow see their drivers or something maybe. But whatever the case may be, I think the older brothers or the hiring brother or firing brother is thinking just policy. Man, listen, this ain't about what you think. It ain't about that at all. We have a policy. You understand? Now we've lost this contract. We've lost money. And you're talking about let's take them to court. That ain't how the world works. See, you're not taking accountability for your fault in this. Why didn't he say, I shouldn't have got the tattoo? Or can we take him out of the truck? Is there anything we can do to fix this? Why not? Why is it all? He's not taking any accountability from my understanding. And that's only based on, did he know that getting a face tattoo would be breaking company policy? Okay, Chaddy, any thoughts before we continue?
Yeah, if he knew, then that's just an issue within itself. That now you're just breaking the policy. But I can say if it's not in the policy, as women, as minority women, or being fresh out of college, I remember going for an interview for my first corporate job, and I had to go put on that wig because my aunties and uncles told me, you can't go in there with no afro or your twist like you've been wearing. And that's it, as ugly as it is, that's the reality that we face. Our braids, our dreadlocks, etc., our appearances weren't accepted. But that does not negate the fact that I'm educated, I'm qualified for this job, but now I have to mask that. And then once I got the job and knowing it's not in the policy, surprise, natural black woman here. So I have gone back to old ways, in instances such as that. So if there's no policy and that's his expression or whatever is going on, you have to grant someone that if there's nothing stating that you cannot have that. Do people deem it as unprofessional? Yes, but if it's not in the policy, he can get that off. But I've had to resort to old ways simply to get the job. And old ways is being my dreads, my human hair, wet and wavy braids, all the things that we do culturally with our hair. We do sometimes have to suppress that to get the job, and then we can pop out and show knuckles. You know what I'm saying? So I can almost see if that was the case where they didn't have that policy, and he's like, well, now that I got the job, I want the tattoo. No one said I couldn't. And if that's the case, hey, you can't say anything to that man.
Now listen, I've seen I've worked jobs where they'll say your hair can be no longer than 3 inches if you're a man, right? And so a white guy's hair is 3 inches, but it lays down over his forehead. Nice haircut. A black guy's hair is 3 inches. It's going to stand up like an afro. Looks entirely different. And they would have a different expectation for the black guy. And that's completely wrong because it is 3 inches of hair. And I would say that's where you would see that cultural bias come in. And then when you talk about hairstyles, when they say a black woman, of course, no braids, no locks, it's like, what exactly are you saying? You don't want any ethnicity in here? What are you saying exactly? And I can see a time where that actually comes into play. However, sometimes, and I can't say this is one of them, but sometimes how we dress, how we look could interfere with how we do our job. I don't know if you heard, if any of you guys heard this, put one in the chat. One time a woman worked at an airport and they had similar rules, black lady. And she decided to wear her hair like she wanted to because, hey, she should have that. She should have that right. And her hair ended up getting caught in a conveyor and it ended up pulling her in. It actually, I think she got injured really badly. It went viral. It was maybe last year or the year before. If you guys remember that, put a one in the chat. Sometimes it can cause an issue with your job. In that way, I completely understand. You understand? But if you feel it's ethnically related, I would say don't work for the company. If you cut your hair to work for the company, grow it out only to get fired, you already see this company is racial bias anyway. I'd go somewhere else where I can be valued and be myself. But I can't lie, to Chaddy's point, I've cut my hair, I've shaved my beard to get a job because a man's got to do what a man's got to do. You know what I mean? And Once you're in the job, they see how well you work. Sometimes they'll give you a little bit of leeway. I worked a salesman job one time where this hiring manager or this store manager, he did not want men to have a beard or a damn mustache. He was in the military his whole life, and he didn't wear a mustache or beard himself. And I hated shaving my damn beard every day. And he wanted you to shave with a razor. He didn't want any facial hair on your face at all. And so I had razor bumps and shit. And this was a fellow black guy. I had razor bumps all over my face, man. It was a rough time. I hit top notch in sales. Within the first couple of months, he said, you can have a mustache. I didn't like how I honestly didn't like how he was doing, so I quit. But crazy, nasty work, if you ask me. What you mean I can't have a beard, bro? Well, customers think you're hiding something if you got a beard. Man, no, they don't. They got beards. That's crazy. Chatty, what's your thoughts before I continue?
Nothing. I'm good right now.
All right, guys, let's get back into it.
Yeah, they canceling the contract because he got a tattoo on his face.
Come on, bro.
They got a tattoo. Ain't no
sue him.
Ain't no getting
That's a
sued,
breach of
man.
contract.
That's a break. See, man, that's that bullshit you talking about, man.
See, he tells them, see, that's that bullshit you talking about, because it's like, now you want to blame the person for terminating you when you broke the policy. So right or wrong, the company is legal. They're within their legal right if they have no face tattoos, no arm tattoos, no tattoos outside their uniform. Many companies have that, no tattoos outside of your uniform. So if your uniform short-sleeved, no forearm tattoos, no neck tattoos, anything above or that could be shown or seen. Or you have to have like a sleeve under your arm, and you do these extra things to cover it up. This is why they say when you start going face tattoo, neck tattoo, hand tattoos, you hurt yourself with getting a lot of jobs. And this is something that's commonly known. So there has to be some contribution or some accountability on this father and son, because you do know that this is a thing, even if it's wrong. And you have to survive in life. Men have to navigate life, and we cannot complain about the rules. Because if we do the things opposite of the rules, we may be out on our ass and not be able to feed our family. So as unfortunate as it may be, we got to stay within the confines of the companies that's hiring us until we get the power to own our own companies. And when we don't own the companies, there's going to be a bit of prejudice. It could be racial prejudice, gender prejudice, family-related prejudice, friend-family prejudice. Got to know somebody to get on with the company. I think that's unfair. A lot of stuff is unfair, but these companies who create their own companies get to decide who they hire. You think about companies like Hooters and Twin Peaks and things of that nature. They hire women based on their body types. Guys, you'd say this is gender, this is body shaming or body bias, shape bias. You have to create a word for it probably, or there probably is one I'm unaware of that can highlight exactly what that is, but it's got to be something wrong with that. But this company is based on aesthetics. So they're able to kind of do that. I've even seen companies where you have to stay within a certain body weight. A woman body weight fluctuate up or down 10 pounds. That body discrimination. Good. Thank you. They can terminate you. And I've seen women be upset because they get terminated. They gain too much weight or lost too much. But if a company's saying, hey, people come here to see a certain aesthetic, this is what I hire, you have to stay within this weight class, it can feel very unfair, but you have to think about it. This is their company. And if you know this, there is a level of accountability. I could be wrong. Chatty, what's your thoughts?
No, I mean, you're spot on right there. That I agree with. You know, I have nothing to say to that. You know, I pop out when it's like, wait, asterisk.
Yes, ma'am.
But in this moment, I know where you're going.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to now go to this next one and check out this last clip here. 1 second, let me grab it. Guys, put a 1 in the chat if you're feeling this so far, if you're liking this and you want to see more of this. D-Ham, if you're still in the chat, hang tight, brother. I definitely want your opinion. I think when it comes to situations like this is where men and women can have very different opinions. And you can see how we're both valued when it comes to building families and companies. This is why I hate when they act like one is you can have one without the other. You can't. Without someone to think about the person, the individual, and you're only thinking about the company, what's the world going to look like? If you're only thinking about the individual, what about the rights of the company holder? all must be thought about to have an environment where everybody's happy, where everybody gets what they need out of it. You understand? And so I'm really digging this. I love that Chatty has very different thoughts and very different opinions, expresses them well, and does not mind at all a conflicting idea. We're able to take it all. See, this is how I look at it. She's a piece of the puzzle, her mind, her experience. I'm a piece of the puzzle. So we're coming together to get a clearer picture, not to argue who's right or wrong. Let's put all this on the table and take into account, should we terminate this man? Should we hire him? What should we do? So he should have had a friend like me or Chatty. We could talk about this. In his case, he should have had a friend like Chatty, because if he'd have called me, I'd have been like, yeah, your brother definitely wrong. Chatty would have provided some perspective. However, if it would have been that Chatty who was doing this, she would have thought about it a whole different way and could have needed my ideas as well. And you can see how you can weigh both and make a balanced decision, so to speak. But let's go ahead and get with this next video, guys.
I'll put you your house and take care of them goddamn
We get
kids.
the money back. If we making the money.
Listen, man, it ain't gonna be no money if you can't be professional. You unprofessional right now, man. You either let him go, you either let your son go, or you can't work for me no more. Let your son go, or you can't work for me no more. Let your son go,
Bro, when
or
we
you
go
can't.
to work, bro, we uniformed up. Bro, we totally professional to these people, bro.
Answer this question. Y'all just coming from dropping the load off, right? Right?
Right.
Like this, right?
Yeah,
Front, make some keys, man.
Yeah, man.
Give me my keys, man. Bro, you go back to jail all out. Give me my keys, man. I'm gonna call yo.
Need my money.
Ain't no money.
My money.
Ain't no
Need my money.
money.
Truck
That's
ain't
why.
going
That's
nowhere,
why,
bro.
bro. That's why mama don't
Truck
your ass.
ain't going
That's why
nowhere.
mama don't your ass, man.
Whoa.
Bro, don't none of y'all with me to be real.
Got me, man.
Whoa. See?
Broke
Now
my
family issues start coming out, personal
I
issues.
knew it.
Goodness gracious, boy.
Oh, that broke my heart.
What's your
I
thoughts,
felt
Chatty?
that
We're
in my
definitely
soul.
going to run it back before we break down the actual video in and of itself. But what's your thoughts first time around?
I'm heartbroken. I felt that in my soul. I'm heartbroken. I mean, just the options that you presented this man: fire your son, the humiliation, give me the keys, his emotion, probably being viewed as the family failure. There's so much there. My heart breaks for how this was handled. My heart breaks. That was a lot. That a lot came out in that 10 seconds of what they got going on. In which my initial of the first clip, I said it has to be something underlying, and my heart just broke for the brother, both of them. To be honest, both of them.
Absolutely. I can feel both of their pain. One brother is highly disappointed, and it's likely due to his false dichotomy. You ever had somebody do you wrong, and the first thought in mind is, after all I did for you, right? After all I gave you, because the false dichotomy is, if you do something for someone, then they'll have some type of loyalty to you. When their character is always going to be linked to their character. The character towards you can be no different than the character of who they are. People cannot be any different than who they are. So you can be there for someone time and time again, and unfortunately, it does not mean that they'll be there for you. You can give somebody a great opportunity. Unfortunately, it don't mean they'll perform. And most of his anger is due to that. I did all of this for you, and look at what you go and do. And he's embarrassing his brother. He's embarrassing his son. This could be a complete breaking of the legacy. He has 10 children here. You publicly humiliating him, and this is being recorded the whole time. You brought up his mama. You brought up how she feels about him, and out of his soul, he says, "Y'all ain't really ever fuck with me anyway." That thought right there, that feeling right there, could be likely why he ended up in prison in the first place. So it shows that he is loved, but he don't really feel it. That's a tough place to be in. You love somebody, and because their behavior isn't up to par, you have to discipline them, so you can't really show them how you feel about them, because you're having to deal with them, and it ain't really breeding any positive outcome. It's a tough, and especially they see you confront them as you getting on to them and you've punishing them, so to speak. Because the brother who's having to fire him, he definitely has a point, guys. He definitely did a lot for his brother. So let's not make him like a bad person all the way. And this is why I say people are complex. This same brother who gave you an opportunity, gave you money, put you up, is destroying you on camera right now. Why? Why? Because you let him down. Now, I don't know how much he lost with this company, with this job. It could be a substantial amount of money, so a lot of his anger could be linked to that too. And it could be several companies. He's been getting calls. Let's run it the second time around, family, come back to it, and then we're going to break down the actual conversation in the video. But I'm with you, Chatty. Very, very emotional, and I feel it too. Let's continue.
I put you in your house to take over. I put you in your house to take care of them goddamn kids. The money back. If we making the money. Listen, man. It ain't gonna be no money if you can't be a professional. You unprofessional right now, man. You either let him go, you either let your son go, or you can't work for me no more. Let your son go, or you can't work for me no more. Let your son go.
Bro, when we go to work, bro, we uniformed up. Bro, we totally professional to these people, bro.
Answer this question. Y'all just coming from dropping the load off, right? Right?
Right.
Like this, right?
Keys,
Make keys, man.
Yeah, man.
Give my keys, man.
Bro.
You go back to jail all out.
Whoa.
Keys, man. I'm gonna call yo.
My money.
Ain't no money.
My money.
Ain't no money. That's why mama don't your ass. That's why mama don't get your ass, man.
Bro, don't none of y'all with me to be real.
I felt that again. I heard more that I didn't even hear the first time. Chatty, what's your thoughts?
Got me tearing up. You know I'm a sensitive thug. Man, that hurt.
Fuck him on hood.
On the set, man, on the set. Yo, that hurts. I can't. That hurts. And you know what? That man with his mindset with being in prison, and you want your money back, he will go out and do almost anything that will probably land him back in jail to have some bit of pride left to be able to say, I gave you back your money. Now, when he breaking in somebody's house and stealing a TV to pawn, we have this moment to where it could have gone differently. Now he almost feels like he's obligated in some way to get his brother this money. And he could potentially resort back to all he knows, which is a life of crime. He's humiliated in front of his son. The brother could have handled that way differently. I understand that he attempted to help his brother, which was great, especially if it was with good intention. But everything, I still stand on what I said. It seems like he was doing it just for this moment to say that I did it. Mama can see me as the winner. I helped you out. Mama don't like him, but I'm going to be the great guy. But I'm going to do it in this moment to also be able to say, to remind you that I did this. I think the brother has some work to do. I mean, they both clearly have some work to do, but brother, I can't 100% just say he's right. I can't.
Okay, absolutely. Okay. I'm going to share my thoughts on that, but first I'm going to catch everybody else up. If you just now into the room, a brother is right now in the moment of firing his brother for breaking company policy. He hires him to his company after he gets out of prison for 7 years. Brother has 10 children. He's done a lot for his brother. And his brother just lost a contract or more due to letting his son get a face tattoo. So he approaches his brother. He feels violated. And he's having this tough conversation. So I want to point this out. Allowing his son to get a face tattoo, from his standpoint, while personal freedom is important, business image and is equally critical, I would say. The tattoo isn't the issue. It's what it symbolizes in the eyes of the client: a lack of professionalism, failure to recognize the importance of perception. And I think that's what the brother did. He failed to recognize the importance of what someone sees when they perceive them. So when they went to deliver the load, they technically were in uniform, not here, apparently, but they technically were in uniform. But professionalism isn't just about appearances. It's also how you represent the company and its values at all times. I used to tell my people, when you're out in that truck, you're not just in company uniform. How you behave is uniform as well. So act uniform. Don't get out here and be out here and sitting at a restaurant behaving in a way that makes the company look bad, man. Take the shirt off if you're going to do that. Don't hurt the company. So I was very that was very important to me, is how the customer viewed the company. Okay. So anyway, he starts off explaining everything that went wrong. We got the violation. Now here's the confrontation. When confronted, the brother displayed the traits that led him into, I would say, his troubled past. What did I do wrong? Okay. We're in uniform. He's not accepting any blame. He's not taking accountability. I think Chatty's very right when it comes to freedom of expression. When she talked about, ethnically, how they bar us from wearing certain styles and things. And it's kind of like in a vague print, like really elusive print. They don't say it like directly, but you know what they're saying and they describe it. She's right. But I think the problem isn't with that. It's how the brother is responding. Obviously, the brother doesn't have the articulation skills of Chatty. So this is number one why conversations break down. You don't talk to each other right. So they don't talk as well as me and Chatty, as well as Chatty and I. They don't talk as well as me and Chatty. That's colloquially incorrect. Right. I corrected it. They don't speak as well as Chatty and I. Okay, guys? Communications is very important. So I was going to say this. When he confronted his brother, he displayed traits that could show why he could have ended up in jail. Again, what did I do wrong? We're in uniform. He also didn't see how allowing his son to get a face tattoo, reflected the business poorly. He's not seeing the points his brother's making. Also, when he heard that they lost the contract, his first response is, "Well, let's sue them." He didn't say, "Well, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to do that. Is there anything we can do to earn the contract back? What's the options? Can we get it removed?" He just said, "Let's sue them." But see, Chatty articulates herself very well. So Chatty says, well, because that could be an ethic issue, we should team up and be family. Well, if he put it that way, he could say, "Bro, you're absolutely correct. I'll correct that issue. But listen, let's do this too, because I believe they're doing us wrong here." Well, you did break policy. I did break policy. You're absolutely correct. But I believe they're doing us wrong here. So you're right. We'll set my son down for right now, because I still need the money, and that way I can still take care of my son. But why lose my employment just to make a stance on not firing my son? My son would understand. My son should say, "Daddy, no, I'm fired. You keep the job. You good. I have to find something else to do." You see what I'm saying? Chatty, does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
It makes perfect sense. One thing that I don't think that the brother that's doing most of the speaking is considering: how would someone feel applying for a job at his company organization after watching this? I don't think he's considering that in this interaction at all, because this also paints a picture and narrative of you, sir. So was this really beneficial? Is this really conducive to the growth of your company? And how now are other organizations going to see you when you try to go out and get these contracts? And I think that's the question that he's going to have to sit down and ask himself. Did this hurt my business? And keep in mind, I'm the one that decided to go live about it, or did it help it? And it might be the latter.
Now, Chad, I'm going to tell you this. I can't stand you, and I'm going to tell you why, okay?
Okay.
This is what I was going to close with. I was going to leave this thought until the end. I was sure that no one had thought of it but me, because I am a freaking genius, okay? But apparently,
my bad.
All to protect the name of his company, what he's originally angry about. The way he went about this could have done exactly multiplied what his brother just done. So, Chatty, thanks to you, you threw a grenade of brilliance into the plan. And so you can't just let it go and not talk about it, right? Guys, that's what he did. It's often yin and yang. Often what you're about to go to that person angry about, you're going to be currently doing the exact same thing, so the universe can show you yourself that we all fall down. We all fall down, or that you've done it before. And then what you recognize is, damn, humbleness. Neither one is going to get this. Maybe the brother will learn that later, after the effects of now your brother ain't feeling you no more. Your family's upset with how you've embarrassed them, or they may be upset with the brother, but they're also going to be disappointed in you if you lose multiple other contracts, because this video is now viral. Everybody sees it. The companies may say, "We don't want anything to do with either one of you now," because that in and of itself wasn't professional, right? What if he did approach his brother professionally? Hey, bro, I got to talk to you. Outside of his son sits somewhere else because his brother and he is who had this contract. So he sit down and say, listen, there's a problem. We've lost a few of the contracts. We're getting complaints from other companies. Here's why. Your son got a face tattoo. They saw that. And you've been recently driving around doing loads with no uniform. You got to let you got to let him go. Boom, boom, boom. And they have a conversation about it. But when you approach him like, you let this little get a tattoo on his goddamn face, his brother's being backed down. He's really just fighting as much as he can to get a damn word in. His brother's probably all big on him in front of him, very angry, probably foaming out the damn mouth. I would be too. I put a lot of money into this joke. I want to punch him in the mouth. I really do, because I'm mad. I'm mad. But you can't act like you feel, family. And that's the importance right there. If you act like you feel, you're going to destroy everybody around you. You can't do it. Be angry, yet sin not. And I look at it like sin is that which impedes your path or harmony. Don't do something that sets you back. So if what you're going to do is going to set you back, to you that is sin. So behave differently. Hold the anger, master man frame or woman frame. Okay. You can have a storm inside of you and still present it peacefully. Don't act like you feel. That's the moral of the story, because that's really what happens here. This communication breakdown. If this was an employee, this wouldn't have worked out this way. He wouldn't have been all screaming on him. He would have just terminated him. There's no reason to do this. There's no reason to go live. This is his emotion that's somewhere else, and failure to compartmentalize and being over emotional is where I believe the brother who's doing the terminating went wrong. Okay, I think the other brother is wrong. Needs to take accountability for what caused this issue. But it's not a wrong as in moral. It's a wrong as in failing to think, to ask me, hey, you think it'll be a problem if my son who works for our company gets a face tattoo? I can tell you a million things the brother didn't do accurately, but I can't say he did anything morally wrong. So there's no need to approach this guy like he stole from the company, man. But he's approaching him like, yo, I just lost a contract. You know how hard those are to come by? He could have had the same 4 contracts the last 10 years, and that's how he's been surviving. And losing one could change everything. So you have to understand this. Then the money he's giving him. So, but this is where his anger is. But we're going to watch this one more time, because I want you guys to see how this video breaks down. The conversation breaks down. So let's get to it.
I put you in your house.
I put you in your motherfucking house. One. Now, we already know he gave him money. We know this. So he gave him money. Who knows what he's done for his children since he's been in prison for 7 years? Probably something, right? He's probably done something for them, bought them some clothes, things of that nature, looked out for him. He's definitely a good brother. Maybe he's a good uncle too. I bought you your mother effing house. I've given you money. I've given you a job. Okay, let's go.
Wait, 1 second.
I put you in your house.
Kevin.
Take care of them goddamn kids. The money back. If we making the money. Listen, man. It ain't gonna be no money if you can't be professional. You unprofessional right now, man. You either let him go, you let your son go, or you can't work for me no more.
Hold on, Kev, 1 second when you went back, because you probably couldn't hear me because the video was going.
Okay.
When he said, I gave you, this money, and his response was, it don't matter. That right there is where he just wounded his brother. Someone from the naked eye would just see that as him. Oh, he's unappreciative. But you have to understand that human beings are prideful within himself, but then a minority man, and then you're in front of your child. He had nothing else to say. So that's not his response. He's extremely appreciative. I believe that in my heart of hearts. But what do you say when you've just been humiliated, embarrassed? You have to act as if you don't care. So in that, I don't matter, it don't matter, that's all he could say. His heart broke in that moment.
I agree. And I'll tell you this too. I also see it as it actually doesn't matter. If I were in a situation and my brother said, I put you in that motherfucking house, why would I say to my brother that it don't matter? And I'm also grateful. I must think that he must be trying to control me. I bought you that house, so you got to do this, you got to do that. And sometimes when you let somebody down, they've done a lot for you. When they lead with, I did all this for you, you should have that person on the other side does feel that you think just because you did all that for me don't mean you get to tell me what to do and you get to do that. They often feel that way. I don't think the person means that even when they say it. I think they mean you let me down. I did all this for you and you go and do this. I don't think they're trying to control you, but I also think the person on the other side does feel a bit of, you think you have some right to come at me like this because you did something for me. And as a human, like Chatty said, you don't have a right to do that. So it don't matter if you bought me the house. All we do is drop the load. It's still a face tattoo. What does you buy me a house got to do with anything? And I see that as well. You see what I'm saying? And so you have issues like this that goes on in a husband and wife dynamic, where the husband can be saying, look, I pay these bills, I do this, I go to and fro, I do this, and when I come home, you still ain't happy. Or the wife could be saying, I make sure I keep the house clean, the kids are fed, I cook for you every night. What's wrong? What's your problem? Why you always got an attitude? And why you got to hold over my head what you do? I don't care that you keep the house clean, or I don't care that you go into work every day. That's not the problem. The problem is this or that. And you can see how these arguments, because y'all not sitting down talking and you're yelling, you don't even know what you're arguing about no damn more. And this is why families start coming into it. And now you're mad about a million things. And now we ain't even brothers no more. F you too, or look like it got physical at the end. And it's because you're poorly communicating. What's your thoughts?
Right there with you.
Okay, so we're at this part now where he says, let your son go. And he goes, why would I turn my back on my son? So obviously he's taking pride. And if I fire my son, I'm somehow turning my back on him. But no, you just as your brother's a man and is giving you an opportunity, you are a man with 10 kids. So you're your own legacy. So you got to make a business decision. You're not turning your back on your son. If you don't fire your son, you could be turning your back on him because you wouldn't be able to take care of him. This could be a lesson learned for him. The face tattoo, while he's not wrong, this is the real world. And people will treat you differently if you get this face tattoo, son. This is just the truth. Yeah, you have freedom of expression, but just know there's a counter side to that, and no one can escape accountability. There's always going to be that. You know, I tell men this often. They complain about child support. They don't believe it's fair. They don't complain. They complain about all these things, and I say, you just got to do what you got to do as a man. When you have a child, get a DNA test on your own. You don't got to complain that it's not mandatory because you have a right to get one. See how that works? You as a man have a right to make your own decisions. And so you can protect yourself even if the government's not doing that for you. So make DNA test mandatory because, you know, 4 out of 10 men are not the father. While that may be true, we as men, because we know that statistic, just get the test done. Get the test done. It's on you. And because that's reality and that's life. You understand? It sucks, but it's life. You got to do what you got to do. But you're not turning your back on your son. If I'm a man, let's just stop for a second. If you're him in this situation, guys, we're going to take to some comments. Would you terminate your son so you can maintain the employment and keep money coming in? A, would you terminate your son to keep money coming in? That's A. B, get fired too because you're not turning your back on your son. Okay? Let me know what you guys are going to do. Chatty, what's your thoughts?
What are my choices again?
Terminate your son, maintain employment, and that way you have money still coming in. And maybe you can get the contract back or keep the other contract still got the truck going. Brother doesn't have to hire anybody else because you do realize that you did contribute to this some way. And even letting him fire, you could leave him without a man and a truck just sitting too. Or B, let him fire you because I'm not terminating my son and making him feel like I didn't stand up for him or whatever his father's feeling because he feels like he'd be turning his back on him. Likely the son could be feeling that too. What would you do, A or B? I would say A is a mind move. B is a heart move. You'll find out more if you're a heart person or a mind person. Head person.
B for me.
B. Okay. So we got a lot. We got some A's. We got Justice says A. We got Doreen says A. Fired son should have thought about that before getting that tattoo. Great show. I love these education rebuilds for our community and our people. Thank you so much, Sakina. Queen China Doll says A. Okay. So I think Chatty's thinking of a hard decision. She's looking down the road. How would this affect my son if in this moment I don't stand up for him? If he sees me, allow myself to get fired, he may very well go through life being docile, letting people push him around, giving him ultimatums, and won't stand up for himself. So I'm going to take the position of setting the example for my son, even at the cost of this opportunity. I get it. I get the stance. I also get I've been to prison. Not many people will hire me. My brother's given me an opportunity. He soaked a lot of money into me already. I have to take accountability in what has happened. I'm not in uniform now. I'm at fault. Some of this is my fault. Son, we'll figure something out. Okay? I'm going to keep driving this truck, keep this money coming in, but we'll do what we can to figure something out. Okay? Maybe we can get the tattoo removed. I'm probably doing A because I got 10 children I got to protect, and not likely will another opportunity present itself. Okay? Neither is a wrong move. We don't really know if our decision is right or wrong. It really never is until years down the road. It could have been a development decision. It could have been a lucrative decision. I always say development and growth is like a tree. It's not like a ladder. If you just work on your financial side of yourself, you may forsake character. And you see this, people with a lot of money have horrible character. Some people with great character have little money, and because they're a good person, they believe life should give them money. But you also got to work and gain money and earn money and not give it all away. You ever see a good-hearted person never say no? And then when they need something, nobody else got it. And they're a great person, but in heart, but they never get ahead in life because they don't know how to say no to other people. I say you're not a good person, not by morals, but as far as an efficient person to survive in life. Are you good or bad? Good apple, bad apple. The good apple can survive, the bad apple cannot. I would say you're not a good person. You're gullible. You give your money away. You often think, well, I want somebody to do it for me, so I'm going to do it for them. And you're not calculating their disciplinary skills to pay it back. And so you keep finding yourself in this position. And when you need them, they don't give it back. You're not a bad person for saying no. And whoever taught you that skewed your morals. So you're not a good person and an efficient person because you're gullible. You don't save your money. That's not a bad person in morals, but it's a bad person as far as getting ahead in life. Does this make sense? And so if you're talking about getting far in life, you have to grow in every area, morally, discipline, work ethic, the whole 9 yards, guys, mind, body, and soul. Chatty, are you with me?
I am, but and I also think it's bigger with his decision if he chooses to terminate his son based on the brother's approach and based on what I'm seeing of his behavior. You're basically going to allow him to keep feeding you knowing that you're already full. In other words, this relationship is already damaged. It really can't take anymore. So this time is going to be my son. The next time someone says something, now you might want my truck. The third time, now you might want to take the house back. It seems based on the brother's conduct, every time something occurs, you are now going to try to take something from me. And I don't think that's something that I would want from myself. So in that moment, in that instance, our relationship is salvaged and me and my son would have to leave because the brother is displaying attitude and character that you are going to continue to dangle this carrot and always be able to take something away. So I think if he accepts it this time, the brother's just going to continue to do it.
Powerfully put. Powerfully put. I'm going to read some of these comments. I am digging this. Yusef Val says the father has to keep it true to himself and his son and explain why his brother is upset and have a valid reason. He has to introduce his son to reality and how to manufacture his own path. So this is desiccation. Never heard that word. He won't face later on in life. And I'm going to look that up later because you got me confused. What desiccation mean? Or decision. So these decisions he won't face later in life. I think that's what you mean. I would have suggested to my bro, Donnell Parker says, I would have suggested to my bro, if cover the tattoo, can he keep his job? That's what I would have done. Can we cover the tattoo? They got these skin-like colored Band-Aids. He can keep his ass in the truck. I'll drop him off at the damn next the convenience store before we'd have figured that shit out, bro. Well, keep them 2 checks rolling in. Time 2C says, I guarantee this is not their first argument since the younger brother being hired. Absolutely. Justice says, but not setting boundaries with son will ultimately let the son down in the long run. I do see you in the back, D. Parker. Hang on 1 second. But not setting boundaries with the son will ultimately let the son down in the long run. You're right. You have to set boundaries with the son as well. So you're setting an example regardless of the decision that you make here, ultimately, right? That's why we say it's no right or wrong. The father, I read that one already. Let's see. And the son, let's see. And son, we need this money. He'll understand. Absolutely. My son has worked with me at my job, and I told my boss, he is not my son at work. He's an employee. We all have a job to do. I'm not his mom at work. Absolutely. Sure, I've worked jobs with my son, with my cousins and stuff, and we got to lie too, because you're not supposed to be kin. You know what I mean? So you got to do what you got to do. Go start your business, son, or go to Walmart or Target or something. Absolutely. And well, you got that face tattoo. If Walmart or Target would hire him, it seems like they're both in a predicament. If his son gets fired, he's also in a predicament of finding employment. He's also lost options, and he's obviously a felon of some sort or has a background, 7 years in prison, and that's going to hurt him as well. Shay says, I can't hold his hand because the world will not. Absolutely. We all have to travel through this world. We all have to understand how it works. Queen China Doll says, we got to stop being sensitive. It's 2025. It's a hard knock life for some. True, true, true. I respectfully disagree with Chatty. Okay. And I love that. I love that respect is always given. Sorry, I'm not in the chat. Much respect to that. Truly Queen Justice, says by Chatty. Peace to you, Brittany. I have a good heart, but I have to teach my son that the world is not an easy and fair place to survive. He would have to learn his boundaries. True. And I think that the father somehow, that the son's father, of course, feels kind of the blame because he let him get the tattoo. So it's kind of difficult to tell him he's wrong when he probably allowed him to get it. It looks like he's still at age where he have to ask his father to do it. And so he says, you let him get a tattoo. And he didn't say, well, I didn't let him. So I'm going to assume he allowed him to get it. And so maybe he just doesn't see anything wrong with it, you know, to have to be saying you got to take accountability for what has been done, so to speak. At my job, it's a few married couples that work together. You can tell when they are having issues. Yeah, and that's why companies don't allow it. If your work toll is going to go down, your production is going to go down because you're angry at your spouse at work. If you're going to be acting differently at work because you're angry at each other. I don't want you guys working together. And so to limit all of that, I can't have husband and wife working together, you know. And so that's just kind of how they look at it. Back to Chatty, if we were in a formal debate and Chatty had made her point earlier, what was the thing that you had said, Chatty? If you still remember your thoughts.
I have no clue.
Ooh, and it was so good. I had a slightly difference of opinion to offer in there, but it was so good. If I think of it, I'll come back to it.
Okay.
Let's play this video one more time, and well, let me bring up D Parker and see what thoughts D Parker had. So real quickly, what they dropped down. Okay, let's go.
Your son go, or you can't work for me no more. Let your son go.
Bro, when we go to work, bro, we uniformed up. Bro, we totally professional to these people, bro.
Answer this question. Y'all just coming from dropping the load off, right? Right?
Right.
Like this, right?
See, guys, that's the problem to me. They just came from dropping a uniform off. I mean, it just came from dropping a load, and he said we always in uniform. Well, you just came from dropping a load, right? He said, yeah. He said, like this, and you can see his brother look away because he it seems to me he just struggles with accountability. He doesn't confront things straight on, and I think that's an issue. You should have on a uniform. You're not even in uniform. And so you're making the point that you're always in uniform, yet you don't have it on, and you're leaving from dropping a load. You're caught red-handed. At that point, he could say, man, you know what? And you're right. You're absolutely right, bro. And show his son how to take accountability, to show his son how to stand up when you're right and when you're wrong. You're right. And I'm setting a bad example for my son by not being in uniform anyway. His son over there in a whole different shirt. So we know this ain't uniform. Uniform could be t-shirt and t-shirt and shorts though. I don't think so though. By the way, the brothers responding. Let's get with D Parker really quickly. Let's see. It's not allowing me to let you up, D Parker. What's the reason? Let's see here. They would need to connect their mic before you can add them. So do you have a mic? And we'll go from there. It actually has you grayed out as well. So I'll know if you have a mic once you plug it in. Both opinions are good. I see the points. I definitely do as well. And I always say some people might hear a person's point and say, I disagree. I always say it takes a mature person, because you could be an articulate person, an intelligent person, but if you lack maturity, you may be offended if someone disagrees with your opinions. What I like about Charity is that doesn't bother her at all. A difference of opinion makes no difference to her. I always say we're peepholes. People, but I play with the word peepholes, meaning we all see a different angle into life. So your angle could be perfectly perfect, absolutely perfect. And I just don't see that side of it, you know? And so just imagine you looking into a room with 30 people in it. From my angle, I see 5 people. From Charity's angle, she sees 6. We both could be very right. From your angle, you may see 7. You could be very right. So we'll say what they look like. We could see 2 of the same people in that room. They're all in there though, but we just have a different view of the room. And that's life. None of us see the whole picture. So you always want to get with another version of you, another reflection of you who's been on a different road, grew up differently from a different standpoint, saw life differently in a different vessel than you. Maybe you're an older brother, they're a younger one. Maybe they're a girl. They saw life from somewhere different. Therefore, will have a very different perspective. Listen to them. Take it in. Trust me, every bit of it's useful, family. Let's see here. It takes a man's ego is one thing. To take a man's ego is one thing, but to do it in front of his son is disrespectful. This is why he defended his son, because his manhood was coming into play. That's a defense mechanism kicking in. I agree. I would feel the same way. And that's what I'm saying. The brother's practically defensive right here, and he's not able to formulate or articulate his thoughts because you came at him like that. You set the spirit of war when you came at him like that. You approached him like you let this little mother get a goddamn face tattoo. It's like, yo, what the you about to get beat up. And I'm sure he want to punch me in the face, because if I was him, I'd want to punch him in the face. I probably wouldn't even have confronted him. I'd just pat, pat, pat. No, I'm just playing. I wouldn't wear him like that. But I would have been so mad losing this contract, yo. Let me say this before we continue this. This brother is displaying, showing traits that could have ended him up in prison anyway. The number one is lack of accountability, okay? But we're going to start with, when he just now said this, we wear uniforms every time. The fact he's saying that and he's not in uniform at the moment, that's an issue now, okay? It's not just a lie, okay? He's been doing this probably often.
Asterisk, though, what is the uniform? Now, if we're talking pants and a shirt, that's one thing. But if we're talking a UPS button-up shirt that says Sanford and Son on the back, he's so angry he won't even hear the brother say, we took it off. It's in the shirt. You know, no one wants to walk around with the work shirt if they're done with the load that says Sanford and Son on the back. So
yeah, it could be some button up that he puts over that shirt, right?
Exactly. So,
Okay.
but the brother's so angry, he would be unwilling to hear if the brother wanted to say, it's in the front seat. We just took it off. But
see, also he doesn't say it. And I think that's the problem. It's how the brother's responding. He is in defense mode. So we got to give him grace for that. But he's also not responding, like saying, I do have it. We were just with it on. You see what I'm saying? He'll say something else.
How can you respond to someone that's already in that rage? The brother's not willing to hear anything. He's already did he already give him the ultimatum to terminate his son before that? Or there was
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
He's already done that.
So he's already enraged. What can you say to that point other than the mediocre responses that he's receiving? It seems like he knows his brother, and there's nothing that he can say in this moment that's going to make anything better.
Right. That's why we have to give him grace, because you're right. He isn't going to be able to formulate a thought. He's probably not even really hearing what his brother's saying either, you know, due to everything happening the way it is. Outside of it also being put online, you are screaming on him in front of his son, and it's all of a sudden. So again, it's all in how you bring it to him. I think Chatty's very right. In a normal situation, and you're not bringing it to him heated, he may very well say, they're in the truck. That's why I would give him grace, but he didn't say it, so the brother didn't hear that. So I would say this is why I can't say for sure this is the issue. You guys understand? Because he didn't say it. But again, all this whole conversation is a problem. It can go very different if you just approach it correctly, right? So let's talk about this. Based on where we are, they're out of uniform. That's a lack of professionalism. Based on the brother's interaction so far, I would say he's underestimating the value of maintaining a professional image. Because as soon as he mentioned the face tattoo, he didn't say, I can understand that. I get it. I can see that. It was just an excuse. What's the problem with that? There's another company saying that. What problem do they have with a face tattoo? He could have said, oh, face tattoo. Why? What's the problem with a face tattoo? But again, you got to give him grace because you're approaching them with rage. Don't approach people with rage, family. If you actually want answers and a genuine conversation. The tattoo decision showed a lack of foresight or how it could impact the business relationship. A lack of foresight could cause you to end up in prison. Okay, you can know somebody's the wrong group of people. You can know that they do shit that they shouldn't be doing, and you hanging out with them. And for some reason, you act like you forgot that these people do this stuff, and now you got caught up when they did something. Your lack of foresight could have landed you in jail. You didn't do it. You were just with them dudes. I had a homeboy who was riding with his homeboys, and they decided to do a drive-by with him in the car. He would never hurt a fly. I don't even know why he was hanging with them dudes, trying to be cool. Trying to be cool, y'all. They had nothing in fucking common. That's crazy. It would have been sort of like Trey on Boys in the Hood. He's like, let me out, man. Because it's like, in the heat of the moment, you're about to go do something that ain't even in your character, and it's going to cost you your life. And just being in the car, being around makes you guilty by association. So I would say that's a big issue, that lack of foresight. I would say avoidance of responsibility. The brother refused to take accountability. Instead, he tried to justify the actions. And his suggestions to sue was an attempt to shift blame to the company rather than acknowledging fault. They breached contract. We can sue. Why did they breach contract, bro? Why? Take accountability for that. Okay, I get what was in what's the name, but I think I get that. Okay, so they said for the tattoo. I can understand that, but bro, I think they doing us wrong here. But you can't go about that one in an ethnic way, because a face tattoo isn't linked to a skin color or race. So let's say it's a white. This could very well be a white family where they're getting fired because the son got a face tattoo as well. So there have to be discrimination by some sort of other law, but probably just discrimination by looks or whatever. I don't know what that would be called, but I guess it just falls under discrimination, right, Chatty?
I would believe so.
Okay. But suggesting the sue rather than just saying I see what the tattoo has caused, but I think this company's using that to terminate this contract, and I think it's not being done correctly. You think we could try to sue? Is there something we can do? I'll cover the tattoo up for going forward, but the next thing I would say I think he's a little bit entitled as well. He believes that by securing the contract meant the hard work was over, and that showed a lack of respect for ongoing professionalism. The contract is the beginning of a business, the beginning of a relationship. You ladies ever get in a relationship and be like, he was good at first, and then as soon as we made it official, he stopped doing everything. Okay, what are you gonna say? But we together now, we good, right? This is him, Chatty, and you good with this? You good with this shit? I'm just like,
Leave my
so you
man
ready to
alone.
break up with him, right? Because he ain't doing what he used to do no more, right?
Leave my man alone.
Now he mad at you. What you mean? I gotta do shit for you to love me? That's crazy. Oh man, yo. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yes, I do. Since you put it that way.
All right, let's continue.
Call him out,
Keys,
Debo.
man.
Yeah, man.
You my keys, man. Bro. You go back to jail all out. You my keys, man. I'm gonna call you.
My money.
Ain't no money.
My money.
Ain't no money. That's
That's
why mama don't your ass. That's why
why
mama don't your ass, man.
Bro, don't none of y'all with me to be.
See, I got to stop it right there. Now, this is just so painful. This is where it goes to hell in a handbasket, okay? I don't give a if you go back to prison. Yeah, this brother is, while he has a big heart, he is highly reactive. Now, we've seen this before, guys, and I'm not going to draw the parallel here because we're just going to keep it about this. But often these people, when they being destructive like he's being right now, literally tearing into his brother and saying things that could have probably scarred his brother at a younger age. That's why mama don't with you. What in the world is you doing, bro? The reason this brother is being such an evil person right now, and if you talk to him, he would say, the reason I find myself in these situations is because I got a big heart. I just love too much. That's what he would say. What these people feel like they are great people because they love. But get this, when they're also over emotional in the other direction, they can also hate and be very chaotic. So are they good people or are they emotionally led people? And this is why I say, guys, we put moral status on doing nice things for people, right? And so if I do nice things, I got a big heart. No, you're just emotionally led. You're doing things for people without judging or vetting their character. That's not a good person. That's not good. You just met this guy or girl. You're giving them the world because you like them a lot. You think she's beautiful. So you think that she has the character traits of someone who's deserving of everything you've worked for and earned. So you get with her, you give her your all. And then you learn down the road that she's not loyal to you. She's not going to treat you the same. And you're thinking, I did all this for you. Why wasn't that enough? You didn't vet her character. Or you get with this guy. You do all this for him. You give him your all. And then he doesn't value it in the end. And you thinking, but I did this. I was a great woman to you. I did all this for you. Doesn't matter. His character is always going to be linked to his own disciplinary levels. He ain't going to be a better man just because he like you. And she ain't going to be a better woman just because she like you. If you get a job you like, you still going to miss days if you're not a disciplined person. It's just the facts. Men who are single, who date several women, okay? When they meet the first lady they love, okay, they love her, they want to settle down and get rid of all the women. In his heart, he feels, I can be with her and her only. The problem is he's addicted to different women. And while he'll date this woman, be with her, after a while, he'll begin to long for what he was used to. This is why body count for men should matter too. And they just put it on women. But psychologically, we create patterns that break down our character, okay? And they become addictive patterns. So it's always going to be there's always going to be that side to it, right? They care about you, but who are they as a person? You care about them, but who are they as a person? This is why I wrote the book Emotional Terrorizer. I can give you the world, but I can also strip it from you. I'll give you the world, but I'll also strip it from you, right? I'll lift you up, but I'll also humiliate you. I'll tell the world you're amazing, and I'll also tell them that you're trash. And I feel like I have a right to do the other because I can do one. Wow. It's like they're playing God. God give it to you, God take it away. And that's what you feel like when you're dealing with a person who they gave you a lot. Now they think they control you by it. You are a good person, but you also are bad. Are you giving this to me to usurp my own mind and so you can control me? Are you giving this to me because it makes you feel better, or do you actually care about me? And this is when you can say you're now questioning the person who came with money. What was your intent? What was your intent? But this person could genuinely feel betrayed. They could genuinely feel let down. But how do you get to that except for getting out of these emotions? Because now it's gotten so heated. I don't give a F if you go back to prison. Bro, you love your brother, right? I love my brother, y'all. Facebook. I love my brother, yo. I love my brother. 5 minutes later, I don't give a fuck if you go back to prison. Oh, come on. You don't mean that. Chatty, what's your thoughts?
I think this is one of those examples of why we have so many people that are in situations that they're in now. There are people that would literally rather starve than to say I need help. And I think it's stories like this which explains and identifies why he did not have to publicly humiliate his brother just to say, I did this for you. It's an embarrassing moment. It's humiliating. And it takes a lot of person to accept help because we're so damaged and so cruel to one another. People automatically assume that this is going to be the result in the event that I ever hurt your feelings or betray you or did something. You are now going to remind me of the moment when I was at my lowest of what you did for me. And that is such a heartbreaking moment. Just as heartbreaking as the moment where you're down to your last 20 and you need somebody to help you. Those are two moments that feel extremely horrible. Nobody should have to endure that, but this is why our society is so prideful and can't even receive help and will even push people away at times who want to help you because of instances like this, of times when it was shoved in their face. I've tried to help so many people and had to go in roundabout ways to help them, but I can't be mad at that. But it's because they're damaged of what has occurred before. These moments where we shame one another, where we said, I did this for you. Remember this, where we tell our most embarrassing moments, the most humiliating moments, all in a fit of rage. This is why, a lot of the reason why we are in the position that we're in.
Absolutely. That is exactly the reason why we're in the position we're in. There's always something, guys, that can be said. Be diplomatic. Always think about the next words that you choose because you don't want to create a war. Your words are swords. Literally, guys, it's an anagram. I always say that because it's the same words, same letters, but it's it's the letters switched around. That's what an anagram is. Your words are swords. Be careful how you use them, man. You could be saying something that absolutely destroys somebody, or you could be saying something that cuts them away from the thing that's holding them hostage or something. So I'd rather be precise, speak my words slowly, articulate my points to the best of my ability so the person can receive it. If I'm a quarterback and all I do is throw fastballs, just everything at a fastball, some things you got to put some touch on it. Sometimes it's a player between you and your receiver, and you got to throw it over him. So sometimes you got to lob it. So it's a whole different types of ways you got to throw the ball. And sometimes you got to know your receiver. My receiver could be making a cut, and he may not be that fast on the cut. So I got to throw the ball, a little bit softer. I could have a Devin Hester on the field who makes extremely quick cuts, and I can throw it as hard as I want to. Devin will be right there for it. The person you're dealing with, learn them. Learn how they like to receive information and give it to them to the best of your ability. If you're a leader of men, you will adjust how you speak based on the person. Some of us say, I ain't changing how I talk to nobody. I'm just going to say it. You got to get with it. If you're going to be a leader of a company, you shouldn't be my way or no way. It should be find the way to motivate your employee to get the most out of them. Everybody can't be talked to directly. Understand this. He's, again, back to the point, though. He's in a fit of rage, and this is why all of this is happening. Chatty, absolutely right. D-Ham, I want you to come up if you can. Let me know. Just let me know, and I'll drop the link if you can. I think the brother handled it wrong. I think he approached his brother wrong. I think he's moving just in emotion. I think this whole thing was done out of emotion. If I was life canceling the brother who's doing the terminating, I would say you should have given your brother breadcrumbs. You shouldn't have giving him everything. Give him a place to stay, no doubt. He didn't have a place to stay, so don't even have him stressed out wondering where his next dollar gonna come from if you can afford that. But don't go handing him bukus of money. You don't even know what he'd do with it. Pending what he's in jail for, he could use that money to do the exact same thing he was doing. If it was drug related, he could be going to re-up. Don't do that. You don't know where he is yet. It's like somebody who just kicked a habit. You're gonna just let's go to the liquor store, bro. Let's go drinking. Let's go to the club. You ain't got to drink. I ain't drunk in 4 years. I just got out. I ain't trying to be around no alcohol. You ain't got to drink, bro. Now he out there saying, nah, I take one. Yeah, that's my boy. That's my boy. You getting him right back out there. His mind might be, he might have an addictive mind. And a sip to you might not cause that. But to him, you're the devil. You're a gatekeeper. You just put right in front of him and tempting him with the exact same thing. And because he's wearing your face instead of horns, he don't see the devil right in front of his face. And you never know when you're playing the devil. He was playing God. He was an angel right here. I love my brother. I give you all of this. You just got out of jail. Here I am. That's my angel. Now, here I come. I don't give a F if you go back to jail. This is why mama don't F with you. F you. Get my truck back. Damn. Now you the devil. And then he said, man, honestly, none of y'all ever F with me. Damn. So it's a tough situation. What's your thoughts, Chatty? D-Ham, I ain't getting nothing from you. Let me know if you can come up.
I'm still right there.
So are you terminating the brother? What's happening after this conversation? Let me say this. A lot of negatives. Let's talk about the positives, okay? He gave his brother a second chance, y'all. That's powerful. His brother must have earned his release. That's good. So he showed immense compassion by giving his brother an opportunity after prison. Not many people do that. So it's a great gesture. You guys got to consider that. So he did do something good there. I would say it's a teachable moment by holding him accountable. The older brother modeled what accountability looks like, something the younger brother needs to see. So the lesson for the brother that's getting terminated potentially could see in his older brother or the one who are doing the terminating that my brother stand on business. He do what must be done, because it can't be easy to terminate your brother and your nephew. That cannot be easy. And his heart is probably broken for having to do that, knowing the family going to be affected by this and knowing he got 10 kids. And I think that that's a lot of what he was saying in the beginning. I love my brother. He got 10 kids, man, but this man went and did this. If I fire him, man, his 10 kids potentially, man, may hate me. They may not understand what I had to do, but I got a company. I have a company, and I don't want to lose my company I work for. The only reason I'm in position to give my brother anything is because of how hard I work for my company. And now my brother done put a bad taste in people's mouth for my company. I am so hurt when I was just trying to fucking help him. Yo, I can feel his brother's pain as I speak. It's there. So his brother should be able to see that. Yo, I cared about you. I'm there for you, bro. Why? And obviously he went about it wrong, right? But let's move to this point. Family support. While the relationship faced a tough moment, the older brother's decision to confront the truth was an act of tough love. Love means teaching hard lessons. They do. I do think the conversation broke down terribly, but if I were counseling these brothers, that would be what I'd say to the younger brother to provide, pending let's just say he's a younger brother for the sake of argument, guys. So he can have some perspective and forgive potentially his brother for how he went about this. That because he may very well look at it like he put that shit online, fired me online. I don't give a F what he did for me up front. You don't come and do no shit like that. You don't, man, that's crazy. I don't care what I did. I'd never do that to my brother. If I hired my brother, he did that to my company, because this is what we do. We pull these platitudes to give us a moral, to lift us up morally so we can place judgment on the other person. I would never do that to you. And if you start feeling more valid in your reason to cut them off, well, now you're mad at them when really they was mad at you. But you have to cut me off like that or do me like that online. This is what I would say to him to bring him back into the macro. He's looking at the micro to bring him into the macro, which is the zoomed out version so he can see it all. Your brother loves you, man. He did a lot for you. Well, that was just so he could try to rule over me. Did you get a house out of it? Did you get a job out of it? Did you get on your feet? Was you able to hire your son out of it? If you only look at his morals, man, and don't look at what he did for you, you're going to appear ungrateful. And that's the problem, right? He may be overbearing, but be grateful that he did that for you. Say it's not your brother and it's just an employee, and they come to terminate you. You wouldn't believe at all that you had any leg to stand on. But you're doing this because it's your brother. So that is a sense of entitlement. A company doesn't even buy you a car. They don't give you no house. They don't come to your rescue after you get out of prison. Your brother did, man. You should have worked 10 times harder for your brother than you would have any company. This is what I would say to him if I was counseling him, okay? Just so he could see his error in his way. Sometimes you got to find it and look for it, and that helps build character. You understand? A company would have terminated you, man, just as quick as anything. And you wouldn't, what you going to say then? Who you suing then? You out of uniform, they could have terminated you. This is your brother, so now you want to argue with it. You are ungrateful. You are entitled. And the fact that you're not willing to terminate your son shows that you are even more ungrateful. Because what am I going to do now? We're hiring another man, right? I've already invested into you. Now this truck is going to sit until I hire another man, losing even more money. You have a responsibility to at least work until I get somebody, bro. That's crazy. Let me drop this down. This is what I'm saying to the younger brother, because you want to show them, you know, the totality of it all. I would have valued my brother giving me a job more than an employee, not take advantage of my brother. Now, Chatty, I know you know all too well how family and friends could be. You could work at McDonald's and them motherfuckers will want extra fries and expect you to do it and act like you a company woman because you don't want to. I'm giving you the fries you're going to get. You're not getting me fired, bro.
Facts.
Or you own a company. They want you to give them a deal, which what it costs for me, though, the same price. I got a homeboy who's a barber. When he cut my hair, I tip him because he's my homeboy. I don't ask for a cut because he's my homeboy. I pay him more. That's true support to me. And I know you guys who've ever started a business, I know y'all hate that. I know y'all literally hate that. Chatty, what's your thoughts?
I mean, it's so many parts to the story. It really is. You know, you just brought in another element, you know, because it was doomed from the start with even approaching business with family and friends. We've seen it time and time again to where it's not necessarily successful. Could he have gone about helping his brother in another way, just with the car and the home and some money alone? You know, perhaps he just could have referred him to someone else he knows. You know, the situation can go so many different ways, and based on their dynamic and hearing, you know, that no one, y'all didn't deal with me in the first place and mama dislikes you, even giving him the position, even though he might have thought it was helping him, perhaps it wasn't the best decision and he could actually help him in another way. I don't think them working together would ever have worked, regardless of what he did. I don't think it would have ever worked. Peace, Miss Amelia, and anybody I missed. Kev, you still there?
I am
Or
back. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to bring up D-Ham really quickly. D-Ham, did you come up? I dropped the link. Sorry, Chatty. If you don't mind, I want to be able to respond to your thoughts. Is there any way you could articulate them again?
Yeah, no worries. I think in this particular situation, it could go so many different ways, and you added another element with was hiring him from the beginning even the best option. I think based on what we've heard, based on their family dynamic, based on how he even views his brother, he's basically the black sheep, the family failure. You know, mom doesn't like him, etc. I don't. I think if anything were to occur, it would be a situation and helping him in this way, perhaps just the car, the place to stay, and maybe a referral to a friend that he knows would employ him could have been another option. But I think, regardless of what took place, I think this dynamic with them working together, something was bound to happen.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree. And when he yells out, that's why mama don't F with you, that indicates that there's been a history of dropping the ball or something, right? Which to me shows that you guys probably had some issues y'all should have worked out before y'all even did this, because you are aware that your brother has some development issues, clearly, because that's what you're now shouting at him. And yet you came giving money expecting your brother to just do right because you gave him money. That ain't how that work. They never do right when you give them money. They never do. When you think that somebody, if I just do this, they'll do that. It's never linked to stuff like that. It's always linked to their own character. And the only way to grow character is developing. The universe is our greatest teacher. You might often think I told them how to get it right. I gave them advice. They just won't take it. You're not the universe. You're part of it. You're a reflection of it. You did your part. Go on, angel, and give that great advice to somebody else, someone who will receive it. Because to him it is sin for ignoring your advice. So hey, and it is frustrating when you're trying to be there for somebody and they won't take it. Before I bring the handman on the subject, let me read OTC Robo. He says, my only thing is I'm a worker and I work hard. I've been targeted for small shit as a way to undermine my work ethic. I don't know if he work hard, but I know he don't deserve to be belittled no matter what. I agree. You're absolutely right. I'm the same way. I work my butt off, bro. So, D-Ham, what's your thoughts? Welcome in, brother, by the way. How you doing?
Well, appreciate it, brother. Thank you for welcoming me. Hey, hello, how are y'all? How you doing, Chatty?
Hey, Z-Ham, I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. I hope y'all can hear me. I'm gonna be real quick because I'm literally in the mountains right now, and I don't know how strong my signal gonna hold up. But I just want to say I do agree with Chatty with a lot that you brought to our, out of this situation. But this is what I would say, that this brother that hired his brother, you can tell that this is a built-up aggression that's coming from him. For him to stand in a gap for his brother as he came out of prison, giving him a place to live, and also employment, you can tell that he put a lot on the line just in that alone. So if the man is simply out of uniform, it shows that he does not appreciate the opportunity, because what happens is when you hire family, they think that they can just come to handle their business with you any old kind of way. Mm-hmm. But if he was with a different company and they had a uniform policy, he would be at his minimum, he'll be in uniform. Right. But when you don't respect your own family to even wear the uniform alone, it's already pending aggression about why you're not in uniform. Because he's asking him, you just came from making a delivery, right? And absolutely he's out of uniform. Now the face tattoo, understand that came from somewhere else. Like if his customer had to bring to his attention that your people came to the business and one of them got a face tattoo, for him to find that out through third party, he's gonna come into this situation hot. Now, was he right by bringing this to the social media, put his brother on blast? He was wrong. But what happened is he's like, look, man, you're getting a second chance at life, and it's just the little things that you still have the institutionalized mentality that you think that you can just do anything and it's acceptable. It's not. So I think the brother, I wish he wasn't put in this position where he had to fire his son, but it proves that he's not going to take nothing serious unless it's somebody other than his family. And that's just what the man was trying to do is say, hey, look, long as we get the job done, no matter how we come and get it done, long as we get the job done. And of course, he was doing the job, but you're not doing it. The brother's main complaint was, look, you're not professional. You're not professional. And this contract's come by the way of us accepting it by being a professional company. And you're showing up unprofessional. And that was his main complaint. Now, what happened with his parents coming in, that was messed up. But what it does prove that, look, somebody probably held you down while you were in prison. Now that you're out of prison, I'm doing everything I can to give you an opportunity that somebody is not going to give you an opportunity right now. So at least do right by me. And what most people do when it comes to black people, we don't appreciate the black man, but we'll do everything a white man tell us. And oftentimes that's just the way we're designed and built. You can give your brother the shirt off your back, he won't appreciate it unless it's coming from somewhere else. And that's just the way it goes.
Powerfully put, brother. Now, DM, I said earlier, it's always yin and yang, right? Often when you go to correct somebody, you upset with somebody, you've often done or about to do the exact same thing that you're about to confront him for, right? And the universe is the greatest teacher because you're looking in the mirror and don't even fucking know it, right?
Yes.
Okay. His brother is ungrateful. Okay. You called him out of uniform. You already got the word from a third party. You're already upset. You pull up behind him and he get out the damn truck out of uniform. Now your anger is even heightened, right?
Right.
Instead of confronting that, he still confronts the overall issue. You got a tattoo on this man's face. You got to let him get a tattoo on his face. So obviously, now he is ungrateful. He probably wouldn't have done that had he worked for another employer that wasn't kin to him, or like you said, one that wasn't of his likeness, right?
Right.
Now, here's how his older brother who's doing the terminating is looking into a mirror. He wouldn't have approached an employee like that, would he?
Not at all.
So there is some sense of entitlement that this is my brother. And he done did, I'm about to cuss this motherfucker out and record him, right?
Right.
So in his brother's ungratefulness, unappreciation for the company, he disrespected his brother by not showing up in uniform, and now he's lost the contract.
Right.
Now, in haste, he's embarrassed the company even more by handling it in a way you would handle a brother, not a professional. And you're a professional, right?
Correct.
If this is a company issue, he should have kept it company, because
he
I
did.
think you and I both agree, man to man, he ain't even approach him wrong. This is how men approach off some real shit. I think women will look at this and say, how dare you talk to him like that? And that's true. Women are very different in nature. But men, if the fault is that great, I may approach you with man energy. And you're gonna understand by my man energy, your response is going to be real important right now. It's either going to go straight to physical, or we're going to be able to talk about it. And you need to look at my energy and understand how you're going to respond right now. And every man live in this world. You know you truly slighted me if I approach you like this. You need to listen, bro. And that's a fact. And if I'm wrong, even if I can beat the man up, that's not what's important. I realize I slighted this man. This ain't him bullying me. I know that's not his nature. His attitude is righteous. I fucked up. I lost him money. He ain't got to tiptoe to me. This man need to stand on business.
Facts.
But you're recording it. That's unprofessional. You're doing it in front of his son. You're doing it in front of his son. That's not even. You shouldn't even handle it like that in front of your family.
That's why I was trying
to embarrass me in front of my son. Are you? We fighting, bro.
That's why I was trying to explain to you when I first said that this is like an aggression, because it's personal, right? You mixing personal with business at this point. And so what happens here is, if it was a regular employee, first of all, he wouldn't have went on social media. He would have just came up and said, "Yo, brother, your time is up. Just give me the keys." He would have just been on that type of time. But because this is his brother, which he's invested in seeing him succeed personally, it just so happens that he's with his own company where he just lost a contract, or the contract is in limbo because of the face tattoo, because of the he doesn't see, like, look, this is an opportunity for me to prove to my brother that I appreciate everything he's done for me. And so far, he hasn't shown that, right? Now, I do stand with Kathy when he talks about bringing the mother in and why people don't F with him. That was messed up. You don't do that. First of all, it was wrong. If you're gonna you're gonna put yourself out here and try to get your brother ahead in life, but you actually know that there's a risk involved. You don't now throw everybody why everybody don't F with your brother. Like, that's wrong. You don't do that. It was a risk giving this young man a chance. That's any employee hiring any felon or somebody out of prison, maybe a felon or may have something on their record. You're giving it's a risk involved. That's why a lot of people don't hire him.
But then, let me ask you this though.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's why nobody mess with you, right? That's the way he said mama. Absolutely wrong.
Right.
But could it be true what he's saying? Could that type of behavior actually be why mama don't mess with him?
I don't think it was. I stand with Kathy on this one. In the moment of this conversation,
is it right to say? I'm not asking is that right to say. I'm asking, could that behavior actually be why his mama don't mess with him. Because think about this. If your mama don't mess with you and family members don't really mess with you, it could be linked to being slighted by something, right?
Correct.
And if you're saying that, sometimes you can say that without meaning to hurt the person. So I'm trying to give the brother grace. That's he shouldn't have said it.
Well, what I'm saying is it's apparent that this man has a past, right? Ain't no telling why he was locked up. Ain't no telling how many times he burnt people in the family. Ain't no telling about a lot. So of course it could be true. But in the moment, that's not right when you know that there was a risk involved and you gave this man employment in a place to stay. Now that you're going to just show up and take it all away, leave him homeless simply because he allowed a face tattoo, I don't agree with that part.
Well, you know, see, in this situation, your response is the mirror. Okay.
Right.
What I'm saying is the person. So when the person looks in the mirror, they see a reflection, right?
Right.
So the person is my frame of thought lost. I lost my frame of thought. What are we talking about? the mirrors will get you, won't they?
Right. Well, you know what? I think what you're trying to highlight is everything that this brother probably was speaking in the moment was 100% facts. You know, his brother.
My bad. I got it. I don't want to lose a thought. My bad.
Go ahead.
So the person. Okay. This is why nobody F with you. This is why mama don't mess with you.
Right.
It could be true. Absolutely could be true.
Right.
Now again, it's yin and yang. You often learning about yourself in the exact moment. So this is you. You're saying to the person, this is why nobody don't mess with you, right? As it is, right? This is why mama don't mess with you. But you gave him money. So you knew mama don't mess with him, yet you messed with him. So you're shouting at him because you're mad at yourself. So you're mad at the mirror. And this is what I mean. You think you're mad at that person. Bonehead. His mom don't even mess with him. And you gave him money. Now listen, this is what happens when somebody break up. They treated me like they treated them like that. And then that's the person. Then the world gives you the mirror, but you chose them. You put up with it. You took it back.
Exactly.
And then hit you with this one. If you went back, you the dumb. And you like, no, listen, that's not true. If I forgave this person and they told me that they wouldn't do it anymore and they cheat on me again, I'm still not to blame. So you can't say, well, the first time is on them, the second time on you because you stole. The first time you are the fool because you stayed. No, they the fool every damn time. If I forgive you 8 times and you cheat 8 times, you're still the fool. I'm trusting you to act right. You should never blame me for forgiving you. That's crazy. But the world will do that. You stayed with him after all this and all that. Instead of saying, dude, you cheated on her. She forgave you 8 times, so you put her through the same trauma 8 times. Wow, bro, why would you do that to her? This is no reason to be leaning on the man and say, well, you should have let him. You should have let him go the second time. That's on you. No, that's not true. I don't agree with that. I think that
I'm with you.
If my lady cheat on me, I love her enough. I forgive her. She stays. She cheats on me again. That's still her fault. She's doing it.
Right.
Yeah, I probably should walk away, but I love her. I don't want to live without her, so I forgive her. She stay again. She do it again. So I'm the blame. I'm at fault, or she's at fault. Who cheated?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
I suffer from a low development. I'm not strong enough to walk away. But I'm not the problem here. You see what I'm saying? I guess you could be because you're keeping them around. But this is that mirror. And that's that part that's hard for people to accept. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he may not be wrong, but it's absolutely nothing to do with this conversation. And his son's right there too. So you're telling his father that's why his grandmother don't mess with him. So sometimes you can be saying the right thing, and this happens in relationships. Dham, you said the right thing to your spouse. You meant it. It is for real, and your spouse heard something totally different. It was the exact wrong thing to say at that time. This is why nobody mess with you. You could be absolutely for real. Everybody could be saying, let's just say, okay, can I borrow some money? Let me borrow $5. Everybody don't work with that guy. Let me borrow $5 for payday. He go around doing this to everybody. He don't pay people like that, but he really need the damn $5. You don't want to see him sit there and not have no lunch in the canteen or the break room. You give him the $5, come back around Friday. You find yourself in a situation where he like, man, I told you I'd give it to you, man. damn, it's just $5, and now you feel like, motherfucker, you didn't act like that when you asked for it. So
Right.
finally, you said, this is why nobody want to with you anyway. You mean that? This is true.
Yeah, it's 100% facts. I think that's a fair way to look at it from both lenses. You know, that this brother really, you know, he's trying to see the best in the situation, but then when he sees something that somebody else been in his ear about his brother, or way he's done seen his brother do things, now he's trying to throw it all in his face at one time, like, because it's happened to him. And now he's acting like in other words, he, like Kathy said, he's dangling the carrot. And I think overall you're right. You got to look in the mirror, because why did you even give him this opportunity if you was just gonna, throw this man under the bus like this, especially try to embarrass him and humiliate the brother in front of his child, and put it all online. So I think y'all conversation was very healthy. I think that the way that y'all both was bouncing off each other, to see the wrong on both sides is very is key to letting people see how a situation can go left, or how it should have been handled differently. But what I will say is that when you're given an opportunity, life doesn't owe you anything. And the least you can do is put on the uniform. Everything else you can explain your way out of. But how do you not have on that uniform?
Absolutely. You're right. And I feel the same. I think that Chatty's absolutely right in everything that she said. And she's someone who I would absolutely value in a business relationship, friendship and all, because she thinks so differently. She's a heart person, and she articulates it very well. If I were me, I would have fired him. When I was a manager, I didn't play. If you know the rules, you knew you got kids when you started. So when you bring up kids when I fire you, I'm going to tell you, you fired you. You knew you had children when you no call, no show. You knew you had children when you left without telling me. You knew you had children whenever this or that, right? They just be handling mute you. You don't know how. I moved you, you had some sound in the back and it wouldn't let me mute you. Okay, I brought you back up. I guess you maybe somewhere. Let me know whenever you're ready. But I dang lost my train of thought. I'm going to say something and maybe my train of thought will come back. My next point I wanted to do was to analyze the brother's mindset. Okay, Chad, are you up for it?
Yeah, I got a little bit.
Okay, cool. I'm going to say I think the brother appears to be operating from a place of obviously frustration, emotional exhaustion. He's let down. His expectations have been destroyed. He probably has a sense of superiority. His mother doesn't F with his brother. He probably feels morally superior. Probably feels like the golden child. I can see all of that, okay? So I think all of that leads to his overbearing reaction. And I'm not saying the younger brother didn't contribute to this. He could be a problem child. He could be a problem child for the whole family, and his brother's trying to give him a chance when he gets out. Okay, we don't know the whole issue. Okay, but let's just look at the brother's standpoint, not whether the brother earned to be looked at this way or not. Okay, he may feel unappreciated or taken for granted, given the opportunities that he's given his brother, that he's extended him. This resentment it bubbles up. It's like a fire inside of you, and saying this is why your mother don't mess with you, and I don't care about you. Or I don't care if you go back to prison. These are just words of anger, but signs of unhealed wounds. So there's deeper family issues that's being uncovered, and this happens even in your home. You're arguing about one thing, and then 15 years ago on March the 9th comes up, and you're like, what? And it's because it's a similar feeling. It's like we say you wouldn't bring it up old shit. Well, here goes my reason why we can now bring it up again. You've been there. I'm sure it is, guys. I'm sure you've been there. But unhealed wounds, they resurface, family. That's why you got to deal with them. You don't just sweep them under the rug and not talk about them because they're difficult. Talk about them. Figure out the whole totality of it so you can move past it. This controlling dynamic. By helping this brother, I think that older sibling feels like a sense of ownership over his actions. accountability, responsibility for everything that took place that maybe he's not even being accountable to. So I think on both sides there's some inaccountability, and he's going to blame his brother even more harshly because he doesn't want to look at how wrong he is for even putting his brother in that position. If he doesn't have the character, and you know that, you did this. You did this, man. You put a drunk in a liquor store. That's what you did, and you showed up saying, "Really, that's what you're gonna do to me after I let you sleep in my back room in my liquor store? You're gonna just drink it up, dude? You know he was an alcoholic. You did this to him. You did this, right? This creates a power imbalance where he expects compliance in exchange for the opportunity he provided, and we all have to understand that. I understand that. Then there's the repeated pattern. The brother likely fears his younger brother hasn't changed and might fall back into the behaviors that landed him in trouble. This is why he says, I don't care if you go back to prison, because he's seeing something that he's probably saw before he went in that reminded him of something. Chatty, what's your thoughts? And this is just on the older brother's mindset.
I agree with you, and another thing that I'm with their mother dynamic, it's a possibility that there's some resentment there with the two of them because he might have been the one that has to contribute financially more, creating some resentment with his brother because he's always been the one that people go to. He's been more successful. Obviously, brother's been in jail for quite some time, but this is all his internal issues that he's now, in other words, he's bleeding his wounds all over his brother in this instance based on his past trauma. And I think it's a lot of resentment there. And that's also what's coming out through this encounter.
I agree. And Justice asked Kevin, were you saying that when you were a manager, you didn't play? No, I did not. My brother actually worked for me one time. The truth did. And he'll tell you, I made his life a living hell. I made his life a living hell. I got promoted from one store where my father actually worked for me at the first store. My father was a driver for a company. He puts in a good word for me. I get hired in as a manager trainee, work my way up to being a general manager within a year, transferred to my brother's store. At this point, I was a floor manager, and Robert ended up being working for me. And so when Robert worked for Jimmy, when I first got there, Jimmy would let Robert hang out in the office, still on the clock, just chill, hang out. They really liked him. Let Robert sell his CDs on the job, which is fine. I let him do that. You get out in the truck, you're doing your deliveries, you can sell your CDs. I'll let him make extra money. Shoot, that's cool. But I wouldn't let Rob sit in the office like that. I'm like, I see Robert in the office. I'll be like, ain't you off? It's 8 o'clock. I'll see him back there. It's 8:15. He's just chilling. Now listen, we both worked. It was a 2-hour commute. So I see why he was trying to sit around. But I'll be like, get off my clock, because you get bonuses if you under P&L. So I want my bonus, man. That could be up to $5,000, $10,000. I'm not overpaying my employees if I don't have to. So he'd be like, Jimmy let me stay, and Jimmy was my boss, but I didn't care what Jimmy said. You under me, so you going home. So Robert was out of there within a month and a half. Robert quit that job. He said, I can't work for you, Kevin. He said, I can't stand working for you. I didn't play.
Dead wrong. You were dead wrong.
Dang, was I?
Dead wrong.
The company would have fired me if they'd have caught me doing that.
Man, stall him out, Debo.
I think that's why they fired the last guy. He kept being over P&L. He kept having his employee hours being over. And if they're under, you get a $5,000-$10,000 bonus. You ain't costing me that. You're not costing me my job, my opportunity. But yeah, bro was out of there. Chad, you the first person ever tell me I was wrong about that. I was wrong.
Yep.
Dang, I'm sorry, bro. My bad. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, you gotta get off the clock, man. You gotta get off the clock. Yeah, I ran a tough ship, yo. All under keeping up with company. I was a company man. You're gonna do your job, and that's it, and that's all. That's how I saw it. D-Ham, any thoughts on the brother's mindset, the one that's firing, the older brother?
Yeah, I think he was wrong for how he approached this young man. But I do believe it was built up, and it's like he probably had all of this aggression simply because of what he knows, what all he wanted to see, and he wanted to see the best out of his brother, and when you about to lose a contract, it's almost like the regret set in on his man. So he's like, damn, I shouldn't even I should have just let this man figure out his own situation because it's messing up my business now. And I just think that, you know, he did this to himself, like you said. Like if you knew you couldn't handle being disappointed by your brother in any way, shape, or form, or if it'll affect your money, then you should have stayed clear of his situation. You should have let him pick his own self up. You should have not invested, because if it was a regular man that you had to come and fire, you would have just fired him. You wouldn't have went live. You wouldn't have went and videotaped the firing. You would have just cut him loose. But because it's your brother, you feeling like, yo, I did too much for this to come back and haunt me like this. Like, you know, you're trying to teach him a moment, but really you made yourself look bad as a man, and to do this in front of your nephew, that's terrible. That's a terrible way to go out, man. Terrible.
Absolutely. Here would be my counseling advice for the older brother. Okay. You made this personal. This was your business. If you're going to hire family, know how to separate it and keep it business. When your brother clocks in, he's an employee. So whatever he do at work, handle it professionally like you would an employee, right?
Yeah.
Separate your emotions from your actions. I would remind him that anger often clouds effective communication. Your frustration is valid though, but your recovery is counterproductive. He needs to learn how to express concerns without tearing his brother down. Statements like, "This is why your mother don't mess with you," they don't inspire change. They actually build resentment and pain. You never say that to a damn employee, bro, right? And also, if you're going to hire family, set clear and firm boundaries. The generosity is commendable, right? It is. I love that you did that for your brother, but it's important that you got to establish boundaries along with it up front. Don't just get mad at somebody when they don't do what you expect them to do. Set your expectations up front. With this money, here's what I expect from you. Yo, if my brother came to me with that, it don't feel controlling. I understand what he's saying. He's expecting me to live up to what I'm about to give him. He's speeding my life up, y'all, not trying to buy me. You understand? This is what I expect from you. That's what a company does. With this contract, this is what I expect from you. So set clear boundaries. Helping his brother doesn't mean taking responsibility for its success or failures. It's not your fault that he failed. Don't be so angry. A boundary can be as simple as, "I'm giving you this opportunity because I believe in you. But what you do with it is up to you," right? If you break policy, you out of here. I'm giving you a chance, bro. Don't hurt my company. When I say be in uniform, I mean dressed in uniform, even when you're in the truck. And that was my policy. Have a uniform on in the truck. I can't stand that. They're driving a company truck. They got a tank top on. Put your shirt on. It's a light shirt. Put it on.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't have a cigarette out the truck, the company truck, and you got a cigarette out the company truck. No, don't smoke in the truck, bro. So I'm like, have my hand out the truck. No, he's a mean. No, I care about my company, bro. You just don't never own no damn company. You never had shit. That's your problem.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? My mindset gonna be very different than yours because I got something to lose. I work to earn this. You ain't thinking about that. So you have to set boundaries. He's not where you are, right? And so empathy over condemnation. If you do that, you have empathy over condemnation. Encourage him to put himself in his brother's shoes. That's what I would do, right? Think about this. You're your brother now, right? Phrases like, "I don't care if you go back to prison." How would that make you feel? As just your brother just told you this shit. He just told you this. How'd that make you feel, right? Alienated, right?
Right.
You should focus on empowering your brother, man. You said you was trying to get him in a different position. Lift him up to a different position. What you doing right now? See, often the person you want to help, that be the person you destroy. Yo, it's amazing what we do, man. Emotions. Crazy, man. You should focus on solutions, not blame. As an employer, as a company man, blame never works. As a man, blame never works. How many times y'all heard me say, "Man, it ain't about right or wrong. It's about acceptance of your contribution to an issue." Who the hell cares if I'm wrong? What you talking about, right or wrong? How did it make you feel when I said this? It ain't was I wrong when I said it. If it hurt you when I said it, I apologize. I'll say it a different way or won't say it again. Or here's what I meant by it. Not, I wasn't wrong for saying that because it was true. Like, no, man, that's not how it works, right? So
Right.
solutions, instead of harping on a face tattoo online, you should have had a conversation where you got to the nut of it, right?
Right.
So what do you think we can do moving forward to rebuild trust? What do you think we can do to move forward to rebuild love, to rebuild the relationship? Because, and I've already given the advice I'd give to the younger brother, but again, I would say you got to take responsibility, man. If you expect to have a relationship with your brother, a functional relationship with your family, you're going to have to take responsibility. We all make mistakes. When someone's sharing with you that something cost them something, try and hear them. No, he didn't approach you correctly, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that now. Try and give them an opportunity to talk again, get this hashed out. Growth starts with accountability, y'all. Even though it feel good, when you deny yourself that, the only one you hurting is yourself. Stop playing like you don't see what you did. I can't stand when people do that. I hate it. It's a pet peeve of mine. And often my voice will escalate when you're doing it. That's when you'll get me upset because I see you. The problem is clearly here, or I have to point it out for you, which I don't feel I should have to do. But if I point it out for you, you still don't see it and you deny it, that's frustrating for me. And I will start thinking, maybe you're not a person I should be around. Because if you tell me something's wrong, I'm going to look at it. I'm not going to try to go around it and point at you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you that emotional, write down the consequence for his actions, both immediate, for losing the contract and long term. Write down what he did. Sometimes, guys, you got to take time to just meditate, compartmentalize, and sometimes you do that in front of you. Just start writing stuff down or typing it up on your phone. Don't just, he just drove to him. Wherever he is, I'm gonna find him. There he is. Let me pull over, go live. You haven't even thought about this. You about to find out what's gonna happen with everybody else. We're all finding out together because you ain't got no plan of action here, sir. You run a company. I know it took discipline and thought for you to put one step after another to manage this company. Clearly, you didn't do it haphazardly by the seat of your pants, but you're going about this that way, right? So you're out of character, clearly. So if I were his friend, I'd say, man, you got to slow down. You ain't got to have this conversation right now.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
What's your thoughts, man? Because I'm gonna talk about counseling both brothers together next.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this and drop down. I'm gonna let Chatty have it because she brings so much balance to this conversation. But I'm gonna just say, 100%. I think that there should have been accountability for the young man. He should have said, "Listen, let's talk about this. Let me see how I can kind of, fix where my part in this." And because I didn't come to see you lose money, for him to just say, "Hey, let's sue the people." Well, it's a lot involved in suing somebody, especially when you're a contracted work. And people can cancel contracts sometimes with no reason at all. So for him to feel the need to, hey, let's just sue these people, it shows that his mindset is still in an employee set mindset. He's not looking at the entrepreneur. Like for this contract to even come in existence, this other brother had to probably go sit, try to get a meeting, do a sit down, say, hey, we're the man for the job, all of this stuff, and try to convince these people, hey, trust us with your business. And for somebody to just come in and not take it serious, that shows a lack of appreciation. You're ungrateful in a way, and you're not looking at the sweat and the tears that goes into the sweat equity that goes into a company. So I think overall we have to always lead to where's the root of this issue. The root of the issue is you got a face tattoo and you're out of uniform. He said you're unprofessional, and that's not how we run our company. If you're working for Walmart, matter of fact, you can show up to work, but if you ain't got that Walmart shirt on, they're sending you home and possibly firing you and holding your check. So they're not going to pull no punches with you. So why did you do this to your brother? So by me saying that, I'm gone.
Deanna, before you go,
yeah,
he also wouldn't feel controlled if he worked for a company.
Correct.
Because he just do what they tell him to do. That's it. But because he's working for his brother, I said, when you're hiring family, you got to think like this. But also, when you're
Right.
doing by family, you can't take family into work either. And so his
Correct.
brother's not controlling you by asking you to stay in policy at all. Like, so you shouldn't have looked at it that way. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100% on that.
Great, great, great. Okay, so thank you, D-Han, for coming up, man.
No
Follow
problem.
these in,
No
guys.
problem.
As you can see, brothers well put together. Um,
Appreciate it.
yes, sir.
Peace,
Uh,
D.
so I was going to say, Cain and Abel. Someone put, is this Cain and Abel? Often, family, you'll find that you'll have family members, often in your brothers and sisters or siblings, that you have completely different mindsets, completely views on life. And to me, that's what Cain and Abel is a parallel of. Cain, who was well, he was a farmer, but he dealt with the cattle, right? And Abel, who dealt with the herd. I mean, the grass, the farm, the growing of the wheats and all these different things, the gardening. Two very different brothers, but yet they brothers, right? Some think they were twins. They actually were. Cain and Abel, Jacob and Esau. I could go on. There's several lists of twins in Genesis, but Cain and Abel. Abel is generous, okay? He follows the word. He gives God his just due, 10% of what grows from the earth. Cain is a little stubborn. He's supposed to give God 10%, every 10th animal, but Cain started to get a little sneaky. Instead of giving the largest animal, he'd give the second largest animal, as he'd maintain more business if he keep the largest, right? Of course, God didn't like this. He blessed Abel. Cain gets jealous, and he unalives his own brother, right? Story of Cain and Abel. So you can have a little bit of that right here. Two very different brothers. One seems to walk the straight and narrow. One seems to break the rules, and one is about to terminate the other. Clearly, the younger brother here, he does not understand perception. He's arguing that he's professional because he drops loads off and drops them off. He's being told that the face tattoo was a problem, and he's still arguing. But the fact is, the face tattoo was a problem, and you can't argue with the universe, cannot argue with God or reality. The face tattoo was a problem. There's no argument there. There's none to be had, but the brother's still trying to have one. Can't talk your way around it. I already lost the contract, bro. So whatever you about to say, hush, right? But the brother's not getting it. So the brother clearly needs to understand what professionalism is and how people perceive you based on how you're dressed. Imagine you're playing basketball. You might be a great player, but if you show up to a game in flip-flops, do you really think the team gonna take you seriously? Work on communication, his defensiveness, while having a reason to be defensive. I think it's a fear of being misunderstood. So he needs to articulate his feelings better instead of shutting down or deflecting blame. I would encourage him to say things like, I felt frustrated because I thought we were meeting the requirements, but I realized how my choices impacted the business. I didn't realize we lost the contract, brother. Let me apologize, first of all. Things like that. Because this is saying I recognize the opportunity you gave to me. You gave me a second chance, and I don't want to blow it. I apologize for the damage that's been done. Absolutely. I have to ask my son to step down for a minute, and we'll figure this out, son. Okay. Sorry, I let you get the tattoo. Sorry for my contribution and all of this, but we'll figure this out together, right? And now we're gonna get to this counseling part of it. I just want to paint the picture here so you can understand the younger brothers' flaw in this. And I'm gonna bring up Yahashira and Yashiraya. I'm sorry. Chad, if you have any words, please share them if you don't mind.
I would love to. It's so much that I can say, but I do. I was supposed to be somewhere at 9:45, but I love this topic, and I'm so chatty about it. I will say this before I go because this is just amazing. I can't wait to see where you go with this. But I will say this is a prime example of communication. One is key, but identifying a need versus a want. I think oftentimes we can give people what we think that they need as opposed to what they want in that instance. In this instance, I think the brother needed a vehicle to search for employment. I think he even needed some money in his pocket and definitely needed some place to stay. The want was the job already presented to him, and that wasn't communicated because brother just simply gave that to them, possibly gave that to him, possibly because whatever, issues they have, and him thinking that it's the right thing to do without the communication. But what was also needed in this moment was not the want of the job. They had to have they needed to have some communication and work out their issues before I think the job was even, provided to him, and that
Mm-hmm.
could have been solved with communication, similar to the wife that, comes on to the husband, and he says, no, not tonight. Now she feels rejected. So she goes out, she puts on the sexiest outfit and tries it again. And he's like, what are you doing? She's like, I thought I'm trying to give you what you need, this love and affection. He's saying, well, what I want is to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So I think he was simply tired, but they didn't communicate that. She's thinking something else. He needs this, as opposed to paying attention to what he wants. But nonetheless, I do think that the conversation needed to be had, and in this instance, he provided a want, and I think a need would have been more appropriate as far as providing the job. So that's what I have on my departure.
Powerful, powerful statements. Thank you so much for joining the platform. I look forward to doing many of these with you going forward. And I'll reach out to you with the next one, and hopefully you can make that one as well. Thank you, Charity. Seriously.
You are welcome, Brother K West. Thank you. Peace to the chat. Peace, everyone. This was great. I love conversations like this. And this is an example to a teachable moment that two people can have a conversation. Even with the chat, they had differences of opinion, but it was still so much love, so much respect given to one another. These healthy dialogues are really, really beneficial. So I love being a part of it. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It takes a village. And guys, follow Chatty Cathy. Just type in Chatty Cathy and follow her. Amazing content creator, but always has amazing dialogue. And welcome in Yashiraya
It's
Sakina.
Sakina Ra.
Sakina,
You always say that.
Okay. Now look. I look at it shows me Yashiraya, right? And I see
It's
the
the
Yah.
Yashiria.
Yashiri.
Yashiria.
Okay. The
Yeah.
Yah at the front and the Yah at the end. Are those God and God? What's your name mean?
It's Yashiria. It's Yah in the beginning, Yah in the end. So it meant the integrity of the Most High when I was Nazarite. And
Okay, absolutely. See,
right.
I
So
understand that. When I see Yah, I understand the Shiri too. But I was just trying to guess what your name meaning. But I thought it might have God in it twice. That's why I asked.
so
Yes,
that's why I kept that
name.
part for the integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And the story unfolds. Maybe I'll tell you one time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I kept that name, and they could have the rest because it didn't have their daddy blood on it. So, and then I walked away. So that's the end of that story. But Miss Chatty, I really appreciated this build y'all did together. Right?
Thank you
It
so
brought
much.
insight on both sides. I love both sides. So I had questions for both of y'all before you tried to duck off and run. Ew.
Daddy ducked off. Okay.
Before you ducked off and run. Wait a minute, draining man. So because the perspectives were good. So my question was, because this is a brother, and we talking about nepotism, and then he also invited his son to work for him too. So they're doing like 1099 or self hiring, or they doing deliveries or whatever. And so because of this, he talking about professionalism as in just dropping off stuff, right? Thank you. And so if they're dropping off supplies and orders and things of that, sometimes they do, like the UPS drivers and whatnot, they have uniform attire, what have you, but they also have you, they say you can wear a t-shirt or sweatpants or something, because it takes a week or so for you to get these outfits. So you do have a time that you can go before you wear the outfit, right? And this is part of the dress code, because you just got hired. He's a new hire, and it sounds like this man is a new hire. And then this dress code, because not only he wasn't dressed, but the brother, and not the son, I'm talking about the actual brother. And then we don't know what the boss brother was dressed like as well.
Right, you don't get to see that either.
Exactly.
So even if the boss was at work at the time.
Right. So we talking about these roundtable meetings that they were having, because again, when these codes of conduct, this was something he didn't display. Y'all hit that on the nail, because when they held that meeting, a lot of times when you don't want to go to lunch, when your boss asks you to go to lunch, sometimes that's when you get fired. So when y'all talking about how to handle that whole thing was handled in public. I thought I saw a school across the street from where they was arguing at, where he was called self letting them have it. Right. And so I've actually worked for a black company.
I didn't catch that. I didn't peep that. I'm so into the conversation. So the surroundings and everything.
Exactly. So you got a whole company. You got a whole company and your surroundings, you in public. I don't know if he was in front of the building or wherever he was, but was that truck you claimed that you bought for your brother? Did that truck, was it a company truck with a company logo? Because you saying it like you bought it for your brother, like it was his personal truck. So is that a business truck that you bought for the business, for a personal? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so now you making all of this and saying I did this for you, but really you did that for you because you bought that with your business taxes and whatnot for the company, but you gave it to your brother. Because is that a company truck? But it has no logos on it.
Yeah, based on how this conversation ends, I think it is a company truck because he's going to ask for it back. If you're no longer working for me, give me the truck back.
Exactly, but it don't have a logo on it, and y'all still doing like we said, we doing self-contractors. So we have to walk fine lines when you don't know, or maybe he don't know his own policies, because contracts are binding. And when they talked about leaving, he losing his contract based off of professionalism and this, that, and another, you know, for yourself being a homeowner, if you forfeit on a contract, you might just lose your house, everything you put in it, everything you invested on it, all the work they did for it, and you just walk away with the shirt on your back, right? And if they forfeit, then they might have to fix your house and everything else, and then you keep your money and get the money that you spent. So contracts are not just broke like that. That's why this is just bad business ethics. The ethics include the behavior, the morals, the values, the code, the humanity, the laws, right? HR has to protect not just the company, but the employees, the laws. Humanity has no loyalty. The gatekeepers are gatekeepers. Like when you think of that, you got to think about the queen. The gatekeepers are there to protect the walls, the gate. For who? The queen. They don't care about nobody.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But in a business, this ain't that.
Right.
This ain't that. So for nepotism, if he get fired for having a tattoo on his face that's not in this dress code or not addressed within these manuals, you'll catch yourself firing people and losing your whole company to these same people. Right, so you got to walk that fine line within that same thing, because discrimination for wrongful termination and nepotism and all these things will get you caught up, and a lot of people don't even know. And that don't ask, don't tell was not just about the LBGTGYN. That was a cover-up for everybody else. So while you was voting no for that, it really voted for the domestic partner. The domestic partner was for people that had been in relationships for years, 10, 15, 20 years, and their partner died, and all that stuff they invested together, somebody else could just come and take because the domestic partner didn't get it. But now they didn't focus on domestic partners, right? Because a lot of people older than me, and I'm older than you, and you know this, but a lot of people, my elders, right? They were not so quick to get married after a while. They just was together 17, 18 years. And when one died, either the kids came and got it or the state said y'all wasn't married. And so it just went on. I think they, and so this is how it went. The kids didn't get it. When you get a certain age and your parents had all this and that, once you got a certain age, none of that goes to the children. The 401c3, all that stuff, none of that goes to the children when you're a certain age. All that go back to the state. That's when the Social Security was 70. You had to be 70. The reason why they set it at 70 was because they knew black people didn't live to be that old. That's why they changed it. But now they're about to change it back. So I love these conversations. You keep bringing them. And this was a good one, but people need to look into a whole lot when they trying to just try to think you cannot. If somebody break a contract, they can get away with it. No, that's not the truth. Contracts are legal and binding, just like anything else you do. And be careful when y'all just running your mouth and walking around jobs just thinking you can do stuff, because you can't.
Absolutely. You brought two interesting perspectives to me. The first one I was still processing in my mind, and then you hit me with a second one all of a sudden. As soon as you came in first, you talked about a 1099. And as soon as you said that, it hit me because, see, I was going to start a trucking company one time. And I know how the 1099 has to work because, that's an individual. You're an individual entity, not an employee for a company. Everything is contracts. So you got IRS guidelines and all of that. Those contractual agreements are they specify expectations, responsibilities, and consequences. And if you fail to meet the standards, it could be a lot of consequences for that.
Come on.
And the second one you hit me with was them being at the school, being in public. They're commenting very well spoken, absolutely.
And that makes his company look bad, not your brother. That
right,
makes him look bad.
Right, absolutely. And so you're in public now. People driving by, seeing this. They look like they're pushing each other at the end. Where it's paused at right now, we played it a couple of times, but what he's going to say next is, it ain't like you put $100,000 into it. I think he put $7,000 in that truck. And the brother goes, it ain't like you put $100,000 into it. It's like, that sounds so ungrateful. He put $7,000 into it. And that's in one of the things you said was, he may have not even done that for his brother. He could have done it for himself. You get a tax write-off for the truck, right? I got a homeboy, if it gets towards the end of the year and he's made too much that fiscal year, he'll go buy a company truck and he'll drive it. He'll have a big ass F-150 because he's in real estate. And so he'll have to use that money or they're going to take it in taxes anyway, right? And so this could have worked out that way, but either way, you're on the side of receiving it. You have to be grateful anyway. And I don't think you should consider whether or not if he did it for himself or you. If this was done for you, gratefulness is do it right. Respect what he's done for you. That make any sense?
Okay, but then too, have you ever did anything for somebody and threw it back in their face because you did it for them? No, because that's not why you did it. You did it for them. So when you're doing something for somebody, you're doing it from a place of endearment, right?
Well, I think they come from two different places.
Exactly. So that wasn't
someone has thought I was bringing it up in their face before. That wasn't my intention. So I'll put it like this. Say I help somebody out, right? I give somebody some money to start their business. Their business ends up flourishing, right? And when they're basking in their success, I say, well, you could have done it without me, right? To me, that's like throwing it up in your face, right? But if I've done that same thing for you, right? And you end up talking about me behind my back or doing something that I find disloyal as a friend, I might say, man, after all I've done for you, I can't believe you do that to somebody who literally gave you something when you was at your last, bro, who helped you start your dream. How could you disrespect somebody who did that for you? And they may say, why are you throwing it up in my face? Because I've been in situations where I'm trying to say, how could you do me that way? And then their excuse is I'm throwing something up in their face. And I always feel like that's so deceptive.
That's not the truth, but I'm not saying that. So we're not going to twist that up because that's not what I'm saying.
You asked me if I ever done it. So
right.
I haven't done it, but someone can say I've done it.
Exactly. When you are doing something for somebody, it comes from a genuine place. Sure. So regardless how it came back later, because hurt people, and when you hurt, you're entitled, just like everybody else. You get hurt too. Just because they think, you know what I'm saying, because you were nice and you had a heart, don't think that you don't have feelings.
Absolutely.
Kevin, you can just keep on, and Kevin ain't gonna. No, Kevin is entitled to pop off like everybody else.
Absolutely. You have to consider both parties' feelings in the matter. You absolutely do.
Right. So again, you're giving it from a place of endearment, and they might be giving it from a place of entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And then now, I did this for you. He didn't just say I did it for you. He said I bought you a house. This truck cost me this much money, this and that, and you're doing it in front of his son. So you're not just trying to humiliate him. You're trying to belittle him.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I absolutely understand. And that's based on how his brother approaches him. So I see where you're coming from.
Exactly.
So I look at it like this.
Part of the job now, right? So because I've had to fire my daughter once too, right? But again, when we talking about the business, so just like when you had to fire your brother, it was business. It wasn't family oriented or whatever. It's business, right? The reputation of the job, the reputation of your morals, the reputation of it all. You see what I'm saying? Because you're standing on business. You're not standing on family. I'm not standing on fun. I'm not standing on candy. I'm standing on business.
Literally, he's standing on business. He's letting go of family because of what it's costing.
Standing on that because all of his ethics and everything else, his business, all of that was handled wrong. Look how he did that again. The whole structure. When that contract or contracts he may have lost, he already lost them in the making. And now that was the one reason why I wanted to come up, and then I'm gonna shut up, was because of the book Emotional Terrorizer. And I'm out of town, so I don't have it with me because I've been writing all over it when I was reading it. One of the things it didn't say misguided anger, but you know what it said because you wrote it. But this is where this brother taking it out on his brother because of all he's done, and his stuff is falling apart. And he needs somebody to put it on. That's that power trip and the power struggles. And I forget how you were saying that, but that's what it reminded me of, the power trips and the power struggles from the Emotional Terrorizer. Now, you should get from there because you know you wrote it, but that's what it falls under.
Absolutely. And I definitely will go into that. And I want to ask you a question before you drop down. And you've had excellent contribution. Thank you so much. The question is, you got a family member who hires you because they're doing you a favor, okay? So you got that dynamic. Now you have an employee who hires you because they need an employee, okay? Are you going to give any one of these people different work ethic? Are you going to follow the rules differently based on the person that you are? Or are you going to work differently for your family member than you would the company that hired you?
Well, seeing that I take pride in my work, I'm going to give them both the same. Why? Because the favor was I needed a job. That's
because you get a job out of it. It's a job for you.
That was the favor, right? To get my foot on the ground so I could hit it running and show somebody what I could do. Just because somebody got me in the door, don't mean they're gonna keep me on the floor. So people, again, we got to know what we're getting ourselves into. We just not getting ourselves into stuff.
Right. So this is what I was saying earlier. You would be grateful for the opportunity and the job, regardless of if it was given to you for a favor or if you earned it based on you having the credentials, right?
Right.
Whatever the case. So that's what I was saying. Regardless if the brother hired him because or put a truck out there for the sake of his business over helping him, the brother should have honored the contract based on how he understood it. Now, maybe he didn't understand it correctly, but follow the rules, stay with it, do the contract, and we wouldn't have this problem. The problem is we're out of uniform. The problem is you didn't reach out to me and all of this. You know what I mean? I think that without you, this live would have been, I think, about a 90, 95, and I think you took it up to like 120. Seriously, you brought in the aspects of it from a company dynamic, how that could look just with the paperwork, and then from the standpoint of it being at a school, man, it being in public, man, that's really crazy. That's crazy. That's nasty work because you could have done this anywhere, but you have right now, and therein lies the power trip. The dynamic is he has the overhand because I've given you all this, and I can take something from it. I can take you from this truck. So I don't have to listen to anything you have to say. You have to do everything I say right now. And when you're in that position And when you move that way, you come off as a tyrant. In fact, you are one, even though you're a righteous tyrant. That's what I call it. You're a righteous tyrant. Yes, you're doing it for the right reasons, but the way you're going about it, nobody would want to work for you if you acted like this. Nobody would want to work for you. I wish you would walk up to me like this, because we are both men. I'm going to forget about those uniforms quick, fast, in a hurry. I'm going to forget that you own the company and I work for the company, because we're men at the end of the day. I always hate it when managers think they can talk to you a certain way because they are employed to be your manager. You have a different business title, doesn't mean you can talk to me a certain way. We're all grown-ups, man. You know what I mean? You have to talk to each other like men and women. Do you agree, Sakina?
That's right. That's right. Because I think somebody said it in the chat. You don't, whether you like somebody or not, you don't get paid to like nobody. You get paid to work. You didn't get hired to like people. You got hired to be professional. You got hired to work, and that's all they want. Anything else is outside of that. And other than that, you're gonna need that manual to keep your job.
You're absolutely right.
So you better know that manual.
Absolutely. Again, thank you, Sakina. I'm going to go into the counseling for both brothers. You could hang out if you like, or you could drop down, come back up again if you like. It's up to you.
Well, I'm going to drop down because actually my other, well, not my podcast, but my sister podcast getting ready to come up in 30 minutes. I got to get ready for that. Okay, but great. I'm going to be hollering at you because I really want you to come on my podcast and do this emotional terrorizer with me.
You definitely.
I'm not going to break the book down yet, but I definitely want you to be there when I get ready to break it down.
Okay.
Because I get heat when I break stuff down. So I'm going to need you to come when I get break it down. Okay.
Listen, I'm about to add some revisions to it. It's going to likely double it. It'll likely double the book. Okay. It won't change the price of it either, but hit me up and I'll make sure we work something out for you since you already have the copy.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm not going to trip on that either, but I'm going to get the book. I'm going to support. You know that. Don't worry.
Thank you so much.
I got you. All right. Hug the baby. Love you, wives. Talk to you later.
Yes, ma'am. Talk to you soon. Peace.
All right. Bye-bye.
Great. Man, this has been a wonderful live, guys. I'm going to kind of give some counseling advice to both brothers if they were sitting in front of me on how they can work this out to be better. And then we're out of here. I'm sure you guys got other lives, other things you got to do, other people you got to see. So first, I would say always create a safe space for dialogue, because both of you can get emotional. Both of you can get going, can get lost in the emotion of it all. So find a safe space for dialogue and slow down. Facilitate where you can have a conversation where both of you can share your perspectives without interrupting each other. First of all, have rules to conversations. Let's not interrupt each other. You can't hear me if you're already formulating what you're going to say. Listen to what I'm going to say, and then I'll stop, and then you respond to what I said. But if you're already interrupting me, you're moving in emotion. Okay, I may have said something that triggered you, but you got to learn how to hold on to your thoughts. Anytime you're interrupting each other, guys, it just creates opportunity for the conversation to break down. And I call this toxicity. It doesn't mean you're trying to be rude by over talking somebody. It don't mean you think you're better than them. Often we see somebody on a platform, we say, look at them over talking. Look at them over talking. It could be for many reasons that they're doing it. Okay, sometimes it is very disrespectful. Sometimes they just have a problem with holding their tongue. And they feel a need to say something because they feel that something very wrong may have been said. It could be many reasons. But either way, if something's very wrong have been said, you can still correct it in a few. So just let them finish, right? I want to interrupt when I feel like something you just said is going to change the whole. You might say your perspective of a thing, and I know that's going to change your whole perspective of what you're about to say. So I will want to interrupt to correct your perspective. So I say, hey, may I please interrupt for 1 second? This is what I actually said. This is what I actually meant by it. That does sound harsh. Can I please tell you what I actually meant by it? Because before you even said, I can understand the problems with that. Well, no, let me tell you first. Okay, go ahead. Or sure, what did you mean by it? I understand, but you got to work out rules of engagement, right? Okay, so I would say, you would say, man, I feel frustrated because, rather than you always do this. Hey, man, listen, it's really frustrating when you don't respond to the thing I just said. Okay. We're not going to get anywhere if you're doing that. Okay. I just told you it's against company policy to wear the face tattoos. It's their right to terminate the policy. They terminated it. Nothing we can do from there. We can't sue them. You got to terminate him because it's going to continue to be a problem. I'm not terminating you, but you got to let him go. We got to figure something else out for him. You know, but dialogue at a place to where the person can receive it. Reframe your relationship. Shift the dynamic from one of control to one of cooperation or collaboration. Right now, the brother's moving about it as, I gave you the money, it's my company, it's my way, you're going to do what I say or else. And because it's that relationship dynamic anyway, the brother's going to feel controlled, even though he probably wouldn't feel that way if it were an employee. Probably wouldn't even making all these excuses right now. But that's just how things go. So they both need to understand that they are at work, and he needs to treat his brother and respect him as an employer, because his brother worked really hard to earn that company. And like I said, most employers ain't coming with giving you no money and no house and all that stuff to go with it, the truck, all that stuff to go with it. So you should definitely take that more seriously. The younger brother should appreciate the work that his older brother has done for him, or what his older brother has done for him, and be more accountable. It's just facts to it. Going forward, they both need to learn how to set clear expectations, what they expect going forward. And if he say, well, nah, man, I want to be able to still have freedom of expression for my son. I can't tell my son to change himself or reduce himself for no company. I ain't gonna work for you because, hey, I figure it out, bro. Then you don't want to work for me, but don't take the job and then do me like that, because now I'm losing a contract. That would have never happened. And then you guys got to address the underlying issues, I believe, before you guys get back in the seat of the truck, so to speak, right? Before you guys get back in business together. If you're going to move forward, regardless, though, even if you're not going to move forward in business, there's some issues y'all guys need to address. And I think a lot of us look at therapy like it means something's wrong with you. Get therapy, guys. It'll help us maintain relationships better. It'll help us respond better when things go wrong. It helps us deal with the things that are inside of us that contribute to things when they don't go right, and it causes the problem. So a lot of times you're right, something went wrong, something happened, but due to your own underdevelopment in certain ways is why you reacted that way. And so often we just blame the thing instead of realizing that, man, I got some growing to do. I moved on that a little quickly. I had a right to be upset, but I shouldn't have acted that way. I shouldn't have handled it like that, because look at what it has cost, right? Let's see. That's my thoughts on it, family. I want to thank you guys, first of all, for coming through, and get used to this. I'm going to do more lives where we break down videos like this, because I believe that having healthy conversations means you can maintain relationships. And that means whether it's a marriage, a friendship, business relationship, obviously, anytime you're interacting with another person, good communication skills are going to be needed. Okay. I encourage you, get my book, Emotional Terrorizer. It's on Amazon. I hope you guys love it. And I'll see you guys soon. Let's see here. Kevin, you still a wise brother, man. Always great conversation on here. Blessings and love. Pleasure, King. Pleasure. Thank you, man. Thanks for checking me out, man. And next time, try to encourage somebody to come with you, man. So check out Kev, man, whenever he go live again. Check me out. Come back to the page in a few before the day's out, and I'll have up my next video premiere so you can see what that's about. See if you want to engage. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon too. All right. Peace to y'all. Have a good day.